wasn't lived underneath the rock out there. I was stipend. Yeah. I just put like this one. Oh, that's one like when the sunset. I know, fine.
Yeah, and that's not even Monday, that's Thursday.
I mean, this place is
Oh, on a Saturday.
My nephew graduates from JMU Saturday morning. My niece has prom Saturday evening, so they were running up there doing that, running back.
I've been doing that for 2 weeks now.
I'm glad that's not me.
I do like the way they set it up.
I ain't thinking we just have it for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
I'm overjoyed myself.
All right, before we get started, Dr. Hoden, do you have something you'd like to say?
Yep. So in the last few weeks, we lost Mr. Mike Phillips, who was a very valued member of our school division. He was a bus driver, so I'd like to, for everyone just to remember him when we do our moment of silence.
All right, I call this meeting to order. All please rise for a moment of silence. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I do have to say, you guys sounded really good out there. Dr. Hoden and team, we need to make sure we have this many people in the audience for every meeting. All right, board, you have an agenda in front of you. What say you?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to add 7.01 budget discussion and approval.
Yes, sir, you may. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right, so now we need to approve the amended agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the amended agenda.
We have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, we now have a working agenda. Dr. Hoden, you're up first.
All right, so first we moved this up because we have our two senior reps tonight, and we also have the senior awards happening at Amherst County High School. Typically, we do not like to merge those, but because of the number of events we have in May, we had to have them on the same night. So we would like to first call up Lamar Sales and Wyatt Say and recognize them. Come to the podium. Yep, go ahead. First of all, I'll give you these in a minute, so stand up front so you can be recognized, because I want everybody to see. These two students, seniors at Amherst County High School, have done a wonderful job this year, and we have the privilege to recognize them. They stepped up to represent the voices of their peers, bringing perspective to the board that's absolutely essential, and only that they can provide. And they sat with us at the table with their professionalism, and we certainly appreciate all the things they've done. Two very accomplished Amherst County High School students, and we want to thank you. Heavy. We took them out because we figured they'd have a better picture. Thank you. All right, forward.
Dr. Hoden.
Ms. Justice, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Thank
Fun part. Should have said that at school.
So I'd like to again thank our representatives. We also have a surprise guest here this evening that would like to present an award to one of our student representatives. Can Elaine Duke please come forward?
Lamar, would you please come back up? I stand before you as Vice President of our organization, Gamma Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, because our president is your very own Dr. Wanda Rhodes. She is out of town, so I am here in her stead, and I hope I can make this just as beautiful as she would. Lamar. And good afternoon, everyone, school board, chairman, superintendent. It is my honor and joy to recognize a young scholar. You've already heard that she is in her position because, and congratulations to you also, sir. Today, I'd like to announce that she is the recipient of the Gracie Hughes Melvin Memorial Scholarship, presented by our chapter. This scholarship carries a very special legacy. It is given in memory of Gracie Hughes Melvin, a beloved member of our chapter. It's given on behalf of her son, astronaut Leland Melvin. What a powerful reminder of the love, service, and example of one woman can reach from a local chapter to a family and community and even the stars. She represented our chapter with scholarship service and sisterhood and excellence. The applicants for this scholarship had to do the same thing, and she was chosen for the Gracie Hughes Melvin Memorial Scholarship 2026. We ask that you join us in congratulating her. She will be recognized on June the 6th at what will be our 85th anniversary, but 4th annual Community Day. So we are inviting all of you, even those of you in the room, to come to the University of Lynchburg on June the 5th at 5:45. She's had her photo shoot, right? And she'll be part of the entire program at the scholarship portion because we're doing sisterhood, service, and scholarship. So this young lady and 3 other young ladies will be the stars of that event. Now, a little secret. I was talking to Leland this morning. He's in Florida, but maybe he might come see you in person on June the 5th. Don't tell anybody. He said we want it to be a surprise. So, young lady, I'd like to just present you with a letter of invitation for the 5th and the Community Day flyer. And while she's doing that, we also would like to let you know, on behalf of Dr. Wanda Rose, who is our chapter president, we will be recognizing Amherst County's own Priscilla Ligon. So we congratulate you, Lamar, for being the recipient of the Gracie Hughes Melvin Memorial Scholarship. May you continue to soar with excellence, grace, and purpose. So you know your scholarship person's already told y'all this. All right, thank you. And she's going to the University of Virginia, and Leland was thrilled about that. Thank you for your time.
All right, so again, typically we, the student representatives go after all the awards, but because we're going to allow them to leave, I'm now going to allow the student reps to give their part so they can be.
Hi everyone, hi board. So for the last month, the school has been very senior focused. On May 1st, the seniors participated in the very first elementary school walkthrough. Personally, I went to Temperance. It was a very fun experience. Different schools had differing experiences, but everyone seemed to have a fun time, and everyone had the elementary school students cheering them on as they walked through. So it was a nice full circle reminder of how far we've come. As has been aforementioned, tonight is the Senior Awards Night, where many seniors are going to be recognized for scholarships, department awards, academic achievements, athletic accomplishments, leadership, and service throughout their high school career. On Monday, we have our decision day. Seniors this week were tie-dyeing shirts to wear to whatever school or trade they're going to go into, and they will wear those on Monday for our senior picnic. We're going to be raffling off gifts. We're going to have games and ice cream and food. This is going to be one of the final opportunities for our class to spend time together before graduation. We also have the Senior Sunset, which is going to take place on the 21st at 8, and that is the final class event for everyone to come together before graduation. And then, of course, graduation is next Friday at 7.
Good evening, everybody. Last week we had senior signing day, where this handful of student athletes got to show their commitment where they're planning on playing sports at the next 4 years, hopefully. Yesterday morning, we also had senior and junior sunrise, where the seniors and juniors got to get together, and the seniors got to paint their hands, and they got to put their handprints on the wall beside 2026. And then prom's this Saturday night, which many of us are excited for. And that's all we got.
All right. Board, anything for them before I excuse them to senior awards?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you both very much. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so members of the board, as you can see, we have quite a few recognitions tonight. Those two obviously were pretty important, so we could get them over to the high school. We now have our 25 years of service. So the individuals are about to have given 25 years of their lives to the students, families, and staff of Amherst County Public Schools. 25 years of early mornings, late evenings, 25 years of showing with their heart, purpose, and unwavering commitment to the community. I'd like to thank them for the dedication, how they shaped the lives in many ways that we can never fully measure. So the students they have taught, supported, and encouraged carry a place in Amherst County Public Schools whenever and wherever they go. All right, so I'll call these members up to the podium. And first, we have Mr. Craig Maddox, who I know you all know very well. All right, next we have Laura Price. Susan Williams, I believe, is not here tonight. Carla Stinnett. Kristen Cox. And William, or as everyone knows him, Bill Cox, school bus driver. Again, board, I'd like to thank these members for their 25 years of service. If we could get a quick picture. All right, next we have Student of the Month. As I call your name, please come up to the front. Okay, from Amherst County High School, Sabrina Blanc.
All right, someone.
Amherst Education Center, Tinsley Birch. Amherst Middle School, Jasper Tomlin. Manellison Middle School, Walker Clark. Amelon Elementary School, Emmeline Paxton. She also has a Math 24 shirt on. Amherst Elementary School, Renee Tomlin. Central Elementary School, Tylee Carter. Elon Elementary School, Ella Hale. I'm sorry, Ella Hall. Madison Heights Elementary, Hosanna Paget. And from Temperance, Winnie Poindexter. So again, our students of the month. Board, if we could get a picture.
One, two, three.
Congratulations. Thanks. All right, now for our staff of the month, Amherst County High School, Ann May Arbogast. AEC, oh, she is here. Sorry.
She snuck up behind you.
Sorry about that. Miss Sharon Driscoll, AEC.
Yeah.
Amherst Middle School, Sarah Coleman. Manellison Middle School, Amanda Stanberry. Amelon Elementary School, Chase Overholster. Amherst Elementary School, Christina Farley. Central Elementary School, Catherine Rogers. Elon, Stephanie Quirk. Madison Heights Elementary School, Dana Lewis Brown. And Temperance, Melody Eastman.
One, Miss Ligon. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, so next, participation in the ACPS District Science Fair provides students in grades 5 through 8 with an authentic, hands-on experience in scientific inquiry. By engaging in the practices of science and engineering, students gain a deeper understanding of how scientific knowledge develops and appreciates the many ways to investigate, model, and explain the world. So now I'd like to call up our science project winners. Okay, so I'm going to read out the categories and then what they actually won. So we'll start with category 1, Virginia's natural resources. First, Fletcher Tucker, Amherstdale. Second, Aaliyah Despres and Kinsley Lawhorn. Third, Nikema Chisholm, Amelon. All right, category 2, light and sound. First placed, Zeke Matheny.
Right.
Second place in the same category, Meredith Payne. And third place in the same category, Johnson Rose from Amelon. All right, our next category, the Rube Goldberg machine. First, Asher Giles. Second, Wade Tomlin. And third, Malia Tapia. All right, so honorable mention, Jackson Scruggs, Courtney Sprouse, there you go, and Lachlan Fix from Elon. All right, board, and while they're up here, I'd also like to give a report. So Ms. Despres and Ms. Lawhorn from Central were all also best in show in the regional. So they advanced on and placed in the region. Meredith Payne at AES was also best in show and best oral communicator. And Asher Giles was best in show, best problem solver, most creative, and the STEM innovator of the future. So those were the regional winners as well.
All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. Awesome to have all those young future scientists with us tonight. All right, next we have the middle school winners. So in category 1, physics, Mackenzie Hall and Aaliyah Smith and Allison. Second, Maggie Jo Campbell and Eliza Payne. Keegan Campbell. An honorable mention in physics, Aaliyah Coleman and Jada Mitchell. Maya Jennings and Sky Phelps. All right, the second category, chemistry, Gracelyn Mays. Second, Chrissy Saunders. Third, Lennox Vega and Sarah Saychow. Honorable mention, Soraya Morgan and Cheyenne Weber. All right, the third category, plant science, environmental science, engineering, and computer science. First, Abram Pakar. Imagine both of his parents are science teachers, so I have no idea where he got that from. Olivia Tucker and Skylar Weeks, second. Third, Naomi, boy, I didn't proof that one. Vulamarth. Honorable mention, Dominic Rucker and Alex Lopez. And Kylie Butler. And board, I also have some updates on these folks. So Grace LeMays, Amherst Middle School, was in the region, second place for chemistry, and the NABT, the National Association of Biology Teachers Award. Cheyenne Weber from Amherst Middle, honorable mention in chemistry, that was for the region. Abram Parker, Amherst Middle, Virginia Lakes and Streams Award, and Alex Lopez and Dominic Rucker, Manellison, were third place in engineering. Those were all regional awards, so congratulations to all of you.
Scooch in a little bit, guys. Keep on coming. One, two, three.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Family stuff.
Getting worried, it was all girls there.
So we'd like to sincerely appreciate the teachers, staff, and families who supported these students, the teachers and judges, Ms. Shoup and Ms. Brown for their behind-the-scenes assistance, Mr. Maddox, Mr. Presnell, Ms. Ellis for assisting with crowd management, Dr. Crawford, Ms. Young, Mr. Jordan, Mr. McBride for graciously hosting at the high school, and of course, Ms. Matheny, if she has not already left, for her hard work in this whole thing. And I know a few of the board members are up there. I know Mr. Childress, his daughter participated, and what a great event at the high school that we were able to do this. All right, let's see what we have next. All right, this year, 75 students submitted 61 projects across multiple categories demonstrating creativity, creative thinking, and scientific problem solving. Top projects from each. That was science fair. Yep, that's right. All right. Oh, I got to flip the page. Sorry. Too many papers up here. All right, so welding wars. I don't know if any of you have ever been able to go to CVCC to watch our welding wars, but Mr. Johnston, who couldn't be here with us tonight, we again swept the welding wars at CVCC. So happy to share the outstanding accomplishments for the recent welding wars. Our students represented Amherst County High School with excellence, bringing home a remarkable sweep of honors, earning first, second, and third place in the competition. What a true testament of both their skill and character. These don't happen by accident. They're a product of countless hours and work. So equally deserving recognition was Mr. Johnson, whose work, dedication, and exceptional leadership make this possible. So please join me in joining our Amherst County High School welding students. Braden Hicks, third place. Kevin Ham, second place. Ethan Campbell, first place. And Tori Howe. So I'd like to talk about this young student, won the artistic welding competition. She placed third in the judge category, but placed first in the crowd favorite category. And she has her artwork with her. I'd like you to show the board that, because that is quite a piece of work. Make sure they all see that so they can see how delicate that is.
Wonderful.
That's what I guess. I wouldn't know what to do. Yes, indeed.
So again, our welder's quite amazing. As you see, Mr. Johnson not only has young men, but young ladies in the class that excel. So we're usually sweep that at CVCC. So again, board members, if you've never been to the welding wars, it is quite an exceptional.
So Dr. Oden, can you remind us who else participates in that?
Yes, so that is the region. So Campbell County, Bedford County, Lynchburg, CVCC, Appomattox. So that is all the local school divisions. So, and then also typically they have another category in that, which is the professional. And although we didn't win that this year, I think it's the first year in many years that we haven't won that, where it was one of Mr. Johnston's students. So just quite an accomplishment from our welding. So that's why the new welding lab is going to be so spectacular for these folks to step up their game on the welding. Okay. All right. 406, recognition of the FCCLA students. Tonight, we recognize a group of students who represented Amherst County Public Schools with excellence at the FCLA 2026 State Leadership and Recognition Conference. Students competed in the STAR events, which is students taking action with recognition. The STAR events are competitive events in which members are recognized for their proficiency and achievement in chapter and individual products, leadership, skills, and career preparation. These events offer students an opportunity for individual skill development in the real-world application of learning in family and consumer sciences. What makes STAR events particularly meaningful is their depth and rigor. Each student has been crosswalked in the Virginia Family and Consumer Sciences course competencies, FCS, national standards, the Common Career Technical Core Career Ready Practices, and career clusters, and the 21st century skills. In short, what our students demonstrate in the competition reflects the very best of what career and technical education is. So again, it's an honor to recognize another facet of our career and technical education students. So please join me in congratulating these students as we bring them up. So first place, Izzy Camady and Corinne Gammon. Their category was Focus on Children, Level 3, and their national qualifiers. So Izzy and Corinne, if you're here. Next, third place, Liliana Fickle. Her category was Repurpose and Redesign, Level 2. First place, Tommy Carver, Chicken Fabrication, Level 3. Second place, Evan Bell, category Classic Knife Cuts. Seventh place, Jordan Gallier, Classic Knife Cuts. Tenth place, Levi Reyes, Culinary Arts, Live Cooking. And sixth place, Leanne Spicer, Baking and Pastry. Yeah. Awards. All right, so the next recognition is for Math 24, and I'm not sure if any of you have been to a Math 24 competition. I was able to go again this year, but it is pretty amazing to see the math skills of these young students. So for those that are unfamiliar, Math 24 is a fast-paced mathematical reasoning competition where students are challenged to use all 4 basic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, to make the number 24. The ACPS Math 24 competition challenges students to think quickly, apply number sense, and use mental math strategies to solve problems efficiently. Through this fast-paced competition, students strengthen their fluency, sharpen critical thinking, and build confidence in working flexibility with numbers. So basically, we have 4 students sitting at a table. They put the card down, and the first one to figure that out is, as long as they figure it out correctly, get the card, and then the ones that produce through. So we start with the first round and then go on to the final. So again, very fast-paced, and it is amazing to see the skill of how some of these students are. So we're going to recognize our elementary winners. So this year, 35 elementary school competitors from 6 elementary schools participated, and we have the elementary champion, Judah Knapp from AES. The finalists, the second runner-up, Emily Paxton from Amelon. And she has her Math 24 shirt on. Each school had their own kind of uniform, so that was very unique too. The third runner-up was Knox Wilson from TES. And the fourth runner-up was Hudson Godfrey from AES. Okay, so these are the elementary students. So now let's recognize the middle school winners. This year, 13 middle school competitors from 2 middle schools participated in the ACPS Middle School Math 24 competition. The middle school Math 24 champion, Colin Bennett from Manellison. Second runner-up, Abigail Etter. Congratulations. Third runner-up, William Greiser. And the fourth runner-up, Ainsley Giles. So board, let's recognize these Math 24 competitors and winners. Thank you. All right, so board, now we have the recognition of the Amherst Middle School FFA students. Like to recognize a group of students who have represented our school division with excellence at the state level. Amherst Middle School FFA students competed in the 2026 State FFA Forestry Judging Competition, which is a rigorous contest that consists of tree identification, forestry, and tool identification, topographical map interpretation, tree volume calculations, as well as tree value calculations as they relate to forest industry. To succeed at this level, students must go far beyond the classroom. They develop sharp critical thinking and problem skills, a deep understanding of environmental science, and the ability to make sound real-world judgments about land and resource stewardship. Competing in forestry judging requires patience, precision, and a genuine passion for the natural work. The students we recognize tonight have demonstrated all of these. At this time, we'd like to call these students up. So the 2026 Virginia FFA Forestry Judging Champions, Keegan Campbell. Cole Mays. Samuel Massey. And Brentley Martin. I'd also like to mention that Brentley Martin earned first place high individual and Keegan Campbell earned fifth place. Also, I know there are teachers with them tonight. If you'd stand up real quick, Ms. Parr. Good job. And I know another teacher in the audience that's really excited to get these students in a short time, Mr. Mays. All right. Board, please give up.
And it's important to note that Derek coached them, not me. I just bust them to it.
Give credit where the credit's due.
1, 2, 3.
So board, I'd just like to talk for a second about all these recognitions. It's awesome to see, we had science and math skills and we had some CTE skills, and so we have some well-rounded students, and it's great to be in a county where we recognize all those things, and notice how important that our career technical education is, and the math and science strengths that we have that are supporting these children. So thank you for that.
All right, well, that moves us on to public comment. We have one individual signed up, Mr. Porter, to speak during public comment. Just a reminder, 3 minutes for individual, 5 for group.
I'm Jeff Porter, 478 Woody's Lake Road, Madison Heights, Virginia, District 5. I have 2 comments to make. One is I would like you as a board to consider a modification of how you do your meetings. I would propose that at the beginning of the meeting, in place of the moment of silence, that you open up with prayer. I have served as a chaplain in the Senate of South Dakota. I have been involved in various governmental boards and commissions that have opened up with prayer, a recognition of the importance of God being a part of what you all do and what we do for the benefit of our children. And therefore, I would ask that you would consider making an open prayer a part of how you conduct your meetings here. I think it is important because it also sets the stage that was part of our founding as a country. There was a deep recognition that without God being a part of what was happening in the creation of our country, that we wouldn't have had a country. And so I would encourage you to consider making prayer in lieu of a moment of silence or in addition to a moment of silence as part of what you do. The second item that I would like to bring before you is, first of all, a thank you for those of you who continue to speak directly into your microphones. I am hearing challenged, and I want to hear what you have to say, and I know there are other people who either listen online or are here who sometimes have difficulty understanding what you're saying. So I appreciate the efforts that you make, but I would encourage you to continue to do so. And I guess finally, I am so proud to be a part of a school district that impacts students in so many different ways, as we have seen tonight in the awards that were given. You all are part of doing a wonderful job, you as a school board, you who are part of the school district. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Anyone else like to address the board at this time? Going once, twice. All right, seeing no one, we will move on to action item 6.01.
Yep. So, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'd like for you tonight to consider approval of the proposed revisions to the Amherst County Public Schools Policy Manual.
Any discussion on the policies as presented?
Mr. Childress, I spent some time reviewing the policies, and I'd like to recommend the following be approved. BBBA, qualifications of school board members. EBCBA, electronic room partitions. JHCF, which is a ACPS, student wellness, which we just approved recently. JJAF, which is the student athlete, sudden cardiac arrest. JL, JM, restraint and seclusion of students. KC, community involvement in decision making. I would like to, do I have to do that? I would like to separate out the following for referral to the policy committee. Pardon?
Ms. Justin, you just mentioned approval of the policy.
Sounds good. Those specific.
Yeah, let's do one motion at a time if we
Sounds good.
can.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so the motion is to approve the said mention, and if we could go through those again for the board.
BBBA, EBCBA, JHCF, which is the ACPS one, JJAF, JL, JM, and KC.
Okay, board, so we have a motion to approve those specifics policies. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? Anybody else in the readings like to send any of those to the committee? Or are we okay with approving those? All right, hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, so those policies have been revised. And so now you have a second motion.
Yes, sir. I'd like to refer the following to the policy committee. BBBC, BDD, JFCD, JFCE, JGA, JHH, KGB, KK, KN, and KP.
All right, board, so we have a second motion to submit the four-mentioned policies to the policy committee, which consist of Ms. Justice and Mr. Childress. Any second? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those policies?
Well, I can just say that of a couple of them, the JFCD, and I think it was JFCE, we currently have 2 ACPS policies that prioritize local discretion in those policies. So those were those 2. So.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of sending those to the policy committee?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? All right, so those have been referred to the policy committee.
So we'll get with Ms. Justice and Mr. Childress to bring those to the committee.
All right, so that brings us to the new 7.01, which is discussion of the,
Mr. Chair, we still have some policies that have no action has been taken on, if we can.
oh, are there additional ones that we didn't bring up?
I don't
Yes.
know. Which ones?
There's a lot in G that were listed. There's several under section I. I would need a minute to cross-reference what has been.
I have the packet here. Got this packet. I think I included these. Let me look at it again. GBEB. I definitely wanted to send that one to the policy committee.
Yeah, that one wasn't mentioned.
Sorry. So
right, so
I'll make a
what-
new motion.
Well, let's make sure we have them all this time.
Yeah.
Give us a
Yeah,
second.
so give it, yeah.
It was a lot this time, so.
It was.
So the policies, so in the first motion that Mrs. Justice made, may I share?
Yes, ma'am,
So
please.
the policies that were approved were BBBA,
Yep.
EBCBA, JHCF, JJAF, JL, JN, and JC.
Correct.
The next motion that was approved by the board was to send the following policies to the policy committee. BBBC, BDD, JFCD, JFCE, JGA, JHH, KGB, KK, KN, and KP. The other policies that are listed that no action has yet to be taken on are GBEB, GBG, GBO, GCBA, GCBB, GCBE, GCG, GCQA, GD, IEA, IGBH, IHB, IICA, IICC, INB, and LB.
Wow.
Yes.
I said there was a lot.
There's a
this
lot.
time.
Okay.
Can I?
So I make I'm just going to do two separate packets, if that's okay. I recommend that GBEB and GBG,
All right, hold on, let them write it down as we're going.
GBEB and GBG be referred to the policy committee.
Okay.
So that would mean, that's the motion.
Okay.
Okay, and are we assuming we'll approve the others?
In this packet, yes. I haven't looked at this one yet.
So can we put that in, are you okay with all that being in one motion? Or you want to? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion to approve,
Send to the committee.
I'm sorry,
those two.
to send to the policy committee,
GBEB and
GBG.
so those two policies. Is that
Second.
correct, Ms. Justice?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so those also go to the policy committee.
Got it.
Now, we have the remainder to deal with, so I assume we're going to approve those
Yes, sir.
since we didn't send those. So can we have a motion for that, please?
You want me to read the remainder of policies in section?
And then we'll say,
Packet here.
as mentioned, yes.
So the remaining policies that still need action are GBO, GCBA, GCBD, GCBE, GCG, GCQA, and GD.
Yes, ma'am. I make the motion that policies GBO, GCBA, GCBD, GCBE, GCG, GCQA, and GD be approved as presented.
All right, does that complete that list for you?
No, we've got another
Okay,
packet
so we have a
now.
motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion of those policies? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. All right, so those have been approved.
And then, Ms. Justice, if you can
Yes,
just
sir.
get us an email of what your questions are on those before we get to policy, that'd be
Sure.
awesome.
I can. And then this last packet is, I make the motion that we refer to policy committee, IEA.
I thought we just approved.
No, that was the second, yeah. And ICC, INB, and LB to the policy committee.
Mrs. Justice, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes, ma'am.
You said ICC, but the two policies are either IICA or IICC.
Ooh, I don't have my glasses, sorry. Okay, so this is for approval, correct? No, this is for committee. Okay, so IEA and IICC, INB, and is that LB?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and LB be referred to the policy committee.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those policies? Hearing none, all those in favor of sending that to the policy committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Okay, those are now going to the policy
Policy
committee.
committee, yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I recommend we approve IGBH, IHB, and IICA as presented.
Does this now fully complete us? Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you. All right, we have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Any discussion on those policies? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay.
Myself.
Okay, so those policies have been approved.
Thank you, sir.
And I
Sorry
think
for the
that's all of the
confusion on
policies for this.
that. That's a lot of policies, so.
It was a lot of policies, but I think for the most part, most of those were
Relatively easy
yeah,
changes.
simple.
That's-
Yeah, it wasn't a big change from what it was previously.
And that's why, if Ms. Justice could just let us know what her questions are, we could maybe have that so that the meeting isn't quite so long for her and Mr. Childress.
Perfect. All right, so moving on to 7.01, the new 7.01, which is discussion of budget and potential approval of the budget. So as everybody is aware, the state still has not finished their part of it, so we don't know what the state's going to approve, but we, as a board, need to get a plan in place to proceed, and then if we need to come back later, pending what the state does, then we can revisit it. But we've got to give the administration some direction on which way to go. So to update everyone, last week, the Board of Supervisors met and they approved the tax rate, and they approved an additional 1 million for the school board budget.
1.1.
1.1 million, thank you. So, and just as a reminder to everyone, we actually needed 1.6 to be what we considered level funding, right? Because 1 million we pulled out of CIP for this year to help with operations, and then with the local composite index change of 560,000, that's what gave us the 1.6 million we needed to be level funded. Having said that, I do want to reemphasize the difficulty and the recognition that the Board of Supervisors had to work with within the budget process. But the reality of that is that based on where we are today, we will be $500,000 short of what we said we needed for our budget. So that means we've got to cut something out of the budget in order to get our budget finalized. So we're left with either cutting CIP items out of our operating budget, or cutting positions out of our operating budget. One of the things that I think we need to be reminded of is that we had already worked within our budget to reallocate positions for the new positions we were trying to create, right? Because we were trying to add an additional teacher at Madison Heights Elementary, an additional teacher at Central Elementary, along with 2 instructional aides at each of those schools. We were looking at adding a CTE teacher to Manellison Middle and Amherst Middle. We were looking at adding an ag science teacher to go into the new classroom there
At Amherst County High School.
at Amherst County High School. So those are a lot of teaching positions that we were adding to the budget, but they would have been budget neutral because we'd already made other changes and moving people around, essentially, right? So we are left with having to make a decision on, do we cut those new positions out? Do we cut CIP items out, or do we do a mix of the two? I had sent out, or last week when we met, we got information from the superintendent on specific positions and how we could potentially adjust the budget. And so I feel like we need to go ahead and make a determination on what we're going to do for the budget, so that if we decide to keep those positions, the administration has time to advertise and plan and hire those positions, because some of it actually requires them creating spaces in the building. The new CTE classroom, if we approve that, they've got to get hardware and create a space in the building and hire a teacher that's certified to teach those. So we kind of talked through, with the help of the superintendent last time, about different options. I had emailed, communicated with the board sent out a few options. What is any other discussion from the board, or how would the board like to proceed?
Mr. Childress?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to comment that on option number 2, I appreciate if I'm correct, we are only reducing the new positions by 3. Is that correct? Teaching positions.
So, and again, for transparency, I'm going to kind of go through them, right? So the options are we could eliminate all those new positions that we just mentioned, right? The 4 IA positions, 2 would have went to Madison Heights, 2 would have went to Central. The 2 new elementary teachers that we were putting there, the 2 CTE teachers, the ag science teacher. So those would have been new positions in the budget that didn't exist last year. And so it makes sense to reduce, if we're going to cut instructional positions, that's where you would cut it, right? Because you're not affecting actual people that are currently employed. Okay, and the other options that we have is cutting capital improvement items from this year's operational budget, right? Buses, a school bus costs us about $150,000, right? And so Dr. Hoden shared with us, certainly the need for continuing to improve our fleet, because we have, what did you say? How many buses do we have?
Approximately 57 buses on the road.
About 57 buses, and we try to keep them at least 15 years, but the reality is most of them, or many of them, are older than 15 years, and to replace them, we really need to be buying
4 to 5
a year, and that would keep us at that 15-year cycle. One of the items that was proposed is to, again, cut some of the additional CIP, to cut a maintenance vehicle out of the proposed budget, to remove the painting out of one of our schools for us. That was a summer project, I think. So all of those provide us different levels of savings. And it's a difficult thing for us because as a board, we have said on many occasions, our number one emphasis is instruction. How do we continue to move the needle with our students to provide the best education for our kids, right? And it's a double-edged sword for me, because not only does that mean that we need to have quality instruction, quality teachers, quality programs, but we've also got to have quality facilities. We can't get our kids to school if our buses aren't reliable. Who wants to go visit a school where the paint is peeling off the walls? Right? So it's kind of we need to look at the whole picture, right? I certainly want to focus, and you've heard me every board meeting, I think, mention instruction. We need to think about that, but also the CIP and the option 2 that I shared, which was, this is what option 2 consists of. It's removing one of the 2 IAs out of the new budget. So that would mean that we would keep the elementary teacher, the additional elementary teacher, and IA for that classroom at Madison Heights Elementary and at Central Elementary. I'm also proposing that we keep one of the CTE teachers, and speaking with the superintendent and Mr. Maddox, they could work that into the phase. One middle school is a little bit larger than the other, so it fits and helps with the wheel there. We would remove one of the 2 buses out of the CIP. That would give us a savings of $150,000. Remove one maintenance vehicle out of the budget. That's a $60,000 saving. And then the painting at one of the schools at $180,000. That gives us a savings of $552,000, which is just under the $500,000 that we're short. Now, I want to put a big asterisk in front of that. This is all contingent on the state approving a 3% increase, because our budget has a 3% increase for our staff. If they don't, then we've got to come back and revisit. Right? So if the state doesn't give us the 3%, then we got to figure out how we're going to make that happen for our staff members.
Mr. Childress?
Ms. Justice.
Okay. I think there are two thoughts that come to mind. One is that my understanding from the Board of Supervisors was that it was a matter of delaying until their audit was completed, that once their audit was completed, they felt confident they could get the other 500 to us. The second was that once the Congress approves the budget, that likely we've made our budget based on the governor's budget, which is the leanest, that likely in our current environment, we will be seeing more as a division.
So I've had a number of conversations with the Board of Supervisors, and yes, so I feel confident once they go through their budget, through their audit process, they are certainly willing to work with us if they have funding available, right?
Yes.
But I don't think we can count on that, right? So we've got to make a decision that we can live with in case that doesn't come to fruition.
So what would seem to me, and I think this is why number 2 appealed to me, was it had the least reduction in instruction, which you can't really delay finding qualified people for instruction. You can't say, well, okay, we're going to get an extra 500 maybe in 2 months when the Board of Supervisors has finished their audit. But with our CIP, that can wait a little longer. So that is my personal preference. My concern is that the language appears to be saying that 500,000 isn't going to be coming. We have to choose not to have it right now, and this is the cut we're going to be making. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Whereas I think it's a delay. I think likely we will be able to add those things back in.
Well, again, I would say I'm hopeful that we can add them back in, but I don't think we can build a budget on counting that. Again, I think the Board of Supervisors wants to work with us. I mean, they certainly support the school system, right? But I don't know that they'll have it, and we can't count on it because they don't know that they have it. So that's why I'm really trying to emphasize whatever options we go with, we need to be able to live with that all year. And if we get a gift midway through, then that would be great, right? And so I like the option 2 because for the same reasons you said, it keeps our focus on instruction, and it does put aside a little bit of the CIP maybe for a year. But having said that, we have to recognize next year we've got to have those items in the CIP, right? So we can delay it this year, hoping, but next year if we don't get it, then we're going to have to make some very difficult decisions, right? And some of that's just being transparent up front with the community, with the Board of Supervisors. We cannot delay taking care of our facilities because at some point you won't have a place to teach your kids and you won't have transportation to get them there, right? So, but I think for me, and I'm only one on this board, but for me, focusing on instruction this year, putting those off, fingers crossed that things will work out. The Board of Supervisors will find the extra money, and they'll be able to help us fix the CIP, and we'll have smooth sailing moving forward.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Lincoln?
2 things, and it's just me. I didn't know we was going to talk about this tonight because it wasn't on the agenda. And I think something that's important should have been told to us earlier so that we would look at these options more carefully. I don't mind the discussion here, but when we're trying to deal with this budget, I think it calls for a little more planning. I'd also like to hear what the recommendation is from staff, if that's okay with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So last week, if you recall, I gave you the option 1, which was kind of a mold. So it's a tricky situation. I think, and I was still going off worst-case scenario. That's why mine was based on the 1.9. Mr. Childress, his suggestion was a 1.6. Certainly, I'm hopeful of that. But again, it's a pretty tough situation to be in. So, we've looked at this all sorts of ways. We can't afford to cut all the CIP items out of the budget, and we can't afford to to cut all the staff out. So, the difference in what I presented last week to you and what Mr. Childress did was basically the semantics of offering the worst case scenarios. I said, with that, some of the staff that Mr. Childress has recommended putting in weren't on there. But I do agree with the fact that if we don't get this until June, we're not going to be able to hire qualified staff. So, I'm honestly, we talked about it in senior staff today, and if we're going to, be able to add that other CTE teacher and those other teaching staff at the 2 elementary schools, it would be okay to add those now, because then we could advertise for those and actually get qualified teachers. Because if we wait till the end of June, honestly, we're not going to get them. So, hopeful that that number is going to be closer to the 1.6 and not the 1.9 that we needed to be whole. We're fine with adding those positions in, because we really need to move forward. And that's why we discussed being able to send the contracts out. Other divisions are doing that. So we don't want to lose any more qualified staff. In the last week, we've lost some staff members to other divisions, and so we don't want that to continue. So we want to make sure we get our contracts out, and we want to make sure that with these positions that we can get them advertised. Of course, we have the in-house, we have the high school ag teacher position. Well, we do not have the middle school ag position that I know of, unless someone transfers. But if that happens, then we'll still have to backfill that, correct? So with that in mind, I think that the way we're looking at this is the right way to go, and that we need to have some sort of a approval based on our numbers. It's a tough position. I know on Soup's call on Monday, all the Soups were very frustrated with the fact that we don't have the numbers yet. And Ms. Lukanich has been working hard and her staff, and we've had many discussions about this.
So they answer for my comments. So there's a sense of urgency tonight for what he said and you said, that we choose one of these options.
Yeah, I think the sense of urgency is the fact that if we continue to delay it, then we're essentially saying we're not going to add any of these instructional positions, because we're not giving the administration time to plan for it. And especially with the CTE classroom, because they've actually got to make modifications to the classroom space to get ready for that and get additional equipment for that space.
Okay, so I understand that part. I still was just saying what I said at the beginning, that with that sense of urgency known, perhaps that should have been on there earlier. We could have did more homework, because we're here now. Yes, we were presented with this last week, but not in open session. It's the first time we talked about it in open session, isn't it?
It is, yes.
So I'm not sure that's all that in a bag of chips. Good. That's just me. But I'm prepared to listen to, I've heard what you said, so you all have collaborated on these options for us tonight, to make a choice. The administration and I guess you have talked
Yes,
on the best option to present to the rest of us.
correct.
And is that two? Is that option two?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that, I heard what you were saying as well, Ms. Justice, but I still say that, does this require more conversation, or are we prepared with everything we don't know?
So
Which is
I would
quite
just-
a bit. We don't know a lot. We don't know about
We
the
don't know a
state.
lot. We don't know what the
And we
state's going
don't
to
know-
do.
We only know local,
Correct.
and which I'm aware of, and we know that that's okay with me. So the only unknown is the state, but we've kind of built in this facade of hope of whose budget will come about with the 3% and all these scenarios. Okay.
Right, and so this is the same options that I shared with the board last Thursday, with the exception I did add, option 2 was new. I moved the other ones down because, again, our focus was on instruction, and the difference with that was is we keep an IA for each of those new classrooms, right? And again, the difference, for a point of clarification for the board, the difference between the 1.6 need, and the 1.9 is the raise, right? Because we were proposing a 3%, because that's what we were asked to do by the Board of Supervisors. All the other school divisions are doing a 3%. So if we do 3% and the state only gives us 2, then our need would have went to 1.9, worst case scenario. If they give us 3%, we only needed the 1.6 to be level funded across the board, correct?
That's, I'll let you, it to be close, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that we only got the 1.1 is why we're at option 2 right now.
About 500,000.
Right, so the need that we're saying, again, assuming we get the 3% pay increase, the need is $500,000 is what we would be short. And all of the options that are presented there, in some way or fashion, give us that 500,000 savings. It depends on how you get it, how do you slice it, right? It's either we're cutting deeper into the new instructional positions, or we're cutting CIP. Options 1 and 2 is more of a mix of the instructional positions and CIP, whereas options 3 and further keep more CIP, less instructional.
Right, and Ms. Justice, back to your question, you know, if we are able to get some extra funds, you know, they may just be one-time funds, so we would probably pump those into CIP, like some buses and the painting, so that we could make sure we take care of those. So we're hopeful that we get some, but we just can't hold out hope for that. So I know that would be my hopes, and I know Ms. Campbell would be appreciative if we could get a couple more buses, and Mr. Rokes would definitely like to get that painting done, but, you know, we hold out hope for that, and we're hopeful that we can get that.
Mr. Chair, so bringing this up now allows the administration to start advertising for those positions, right? And so we've got kind of a time crunch there, right? If we delay this part of it, then we have the risk of not filling the new positions, signing contracts and such. And if we get more funding future, we'll still have those positions anyway.
Right.
And we will be able to use those funds for the things that we're losing with option 2.
Correct.
They would come back
Putting the
into
money
play.
back into the CTE labs, and Mr. Maddox was able to get a partial amount. I think it was about $35,000 for the CTE labs. There's still a chance that we might get a little bit more grant money, but we may not know that till June. So hopefully, you know, and then if we get more funds, okay, then we have a little bit left over from the IAs and the math works out, maybe we can also put a little bit more money between that and Perkins, so we can get some more equipment. And Mr. Maddox and I talked today about some of the things that he would be able to purchase for both schools, and then, you know, pump some more into Manelson for the new program. He's not still here, but yeah.
Mr. Chair, make a motion we accept option 2.
Okay,
I second it.
so a motion, so I'm going to read what option 2 is, just for transparency for everyone. So when we talk about option 2, it is from our current proposed budget, it is removing 1 additional IA that we had proposed from Madison Heights and 1 from Central. Remove 1 CTE teacher that we had proposed, so that means we'd be keeping 1. To remove 1 bus, remove 1 maintenance vehicle, and to remove the painting from an elementary school.
Correct.
And that's giving us a savings of $552,113. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any additional discussion? Okay. All those hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. All right, motion carries. So, Dr. Hoden, we have a budget pending the Commonwealth's approval of their budget process, which hopefully they'll get their act together soon.
Yes, sir.
and we can resolve this. But fingers crossed that the state will do what they need to do. They'll give the 3%, and eventually the Board of Supervisors will find some additional funding after their audit's done, and we can add those CIP items back into the budget. So I do appreciate everybody's thoughts on this, and most of all, I appreciate the discussion and the thought of how we can best impact instruction. So thank you. All right, so now moving on to consider approval of the minutes.
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? All right. So we're going to actually have to go through the consent agenda one at a time because we added, or do you just want to lump the rest together?
You can lump everything together.
Okay.
So we'll have them-
All right, so Board, if you would, if someone would, if you're fine with this, have a motion to approve 702 through 705.
It's 8:02.
You know,
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Oh,
Changed
sorry.
it, right.
Okay. So 802 through 805.
so move, sir.
All right, we have a motion.
Second?
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, so passes.
Okay, I'd like to take one quick pause for a second. So last week, you approved Mr. Brian Hoffman as a new principal for Madison Heights Elementary School. So Mr. Hoffman is actually here tonight. He brings more than a decade of experience in education and school leadership, having served as students and families in both Appomattox County and Lynchburg City Schools. He's a graduate of the University of Virginia, holds degrees in education and leadership, and has a reputation for building positive school cultures. He's also in the doctoral program at the University of Lynchburg. Throughout his career, Mr. Hoffman has demonstrated committed student success, collaboration, and continuous improvement. We're excited to welcome him to Amherst County Public Schools. So, Mr. Hoffman.
Oh, good evening. Thank you all for the vital work that you all do, especially during budget time. That's not a fun time for anyone, I'm sure. I know you all have a packed agenda, and it's been a long night, and it seems there's many more points, so I'll be brief. There are two earthly pillars that have been foundational to my development: family and public education. For me, these are more than just my personal values. They are the bedrock of a strong, vital community. I come from a family that lives this mission. My parents, my three siblings, my wife have all dedicated their careers to public education, spanning every level from elementary, middle, to high school, to community college, and to four-year universities. I plan on bringing that commitment to Madison Heights Elementary. My recognition of the importance of both family and the public education system will be evident in everything that I do. I'm honored to join this team, and I look forward to working together. You all have a great night.
Thank you. All right, so we're number 9.
901, 902, and 903 now are a few items, Board, that Mr. Childress and I talked about. Discussion of technology in K2, discussion of the 5 Cs, and then discussion of AI in the classroom. So just need to know what the pleasure of the board is for the information that you'd like for our staff to bring forward on this.
So if you don't mind, Dr. Odom, let's
Yep,
take 801 first.
Yes, sir.
And then we can lump 802 and 803 together, I
Okay.
think. But 801, so talking about technology as it relates to K2. So there've been a lot of studies, I think, on technology in the classroom, especially in the younger classrooms. So I think it's important for us to make sure, we talk about doing the best for our kids. And part of that, I think, is following up on the most recent studies and how technology is potentially negatively affecting those students. And I know this is a weird topic to come from someone like myself, whose career is technology. But I think it's more important that we focus on how to support our kids. And if technology's getting in the way, then I think we need to address that. So, any other thoughts, comments from the board on technology and K2?
Well, Mr. Childress, I had the opportunity to visit 3 different elementary schools this past week and handing out the lunches for the Educator Appreciation Week. And it gave me the opportunity to have a lot of great discussions with counselors, administrators, teachers. And there was a pretty common consensus that some of the challenges of technology in the classroom for K2 definitely outweighed the benefits, especially in the developmental development of their social skills, their handwriting, their fine motor skills. And it seemed that it created more of a problem because they didn't have the maturity to handle what was being given to them through the devices. And that, as great as our tech department is at creating firewalls and protecting our students are innovators, and they find ways around it. And so those were some of the things that I heard. I know there has been a trend among private schools to be reducing the technology aspect in the classroom for the same reasons, that old-fashioned pen and pencil dialogue, conversation is creating a more complex development, especially in the matter of the brain matter, the impulse control. So thank you very much.
So I want to be clear when I say this. This is in no way representative of how well or not well we think our tech team is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a matter of how we feel the or may be affecting our students. Right? So what I would, if I can get consensus from the board, what I would like to do is ask the administration to put a team together, a committee together to evaluate what the current trends are and what's appropriate use in those classrooms. And it may be that they come back and say, no, we feel like we have a great handle on how this is being handled in our classrooms, and we keep moving forward. Or anything from there to let's pull out all technology, right? So I think having you put together a team to look at it, I think for me, I'd like to have a well-rounded committee that's certainly focused, has teachers and maybe some parents to be a part of that, to really get some community input in that as well. So, board, can we get consensus for that?
Yeah.
I'm seeing all heads shaking yes. Okay.
Yep, got it.
All right. So again, it's not representative of how we think we're doing, good or bad with it. It's just more of what do we think's long-term better for our kids. All right, so the next two items, 802 and 803, for me, I get lumped together. And this came about, so I want to set the stage for this conversation for the board. Everybody knows I work in technology. I'm the CTO for a school system, and I've done a tremendous amount of work with artificial intelligence already. And we hear all the time about how AI is going to change the workforce and how it's changing it already. I was originally, I wasn't on board with how quickly it was going to impact our students until it got to where I'm actually creating agents, artificial intelligent agents, to do work for my school system. And I finally came to the realization, these are eliminating positions. Like these, you have, SOC engineers that do what these programs that I'm creating are doing. And it wasn't until I came to that realization that I realized it's coming, and it's coming as quick as you hear a lot of people talking about how artificial intelligence is changing the workforce. And so that got me to thinking, again, in public education, we tend to run behind the curve when changes happen, out in the community. Well, I'd rather Amherst County not be behind the curve on this one. So thinking about how AI is changing to the point where the students that will be graduating high school, when they go off to college in 4 years, the workforce that's there today is going to be totally different. The jobs that are available, those entry-level jobs, are not going to be there. And that just made me think we have got to do a better job of preparing our kids for what that workforce is going to be. How do we use, and I'm not talking about using chatbots, right? I'm not talking about using ChatGPT or whatever your favorite AI is. I'm talking about really using artificial intelligence on a much deeper level to where it is going to be replacing people. And so we've got to understand and teach our kids how to use it, how to understand it, how to take knowledge that's available at our fingertips, and how do we begin to use that to create and do new things. And that's where the 5 C's comes in, thinking about being able to critically think, right, and thinking about our community, right, so as you go through all the 5 C's. And so again, what I would like to ask the board, if I can get consensus on, is again having the administration put together another committee looking at how AI is going to change the workforce, and how do we begin to integrate and prepare our kids from elementary all the way through graduation, and what does that mean for our seniors, right? And I personally feel if we don't begin to make those changes today, we are doing a disservice and quite honestly, not doing our jobs. I know that was a lot, but I do want to open the floor up for other discussion from other board members and thoughts,
Mr. Chair,
comments.
can I interrupt you for
Yes,
1 second?
yes, sir.
Ms.
Dr.
Lagan, I think, are you going to
Have me to go?
exit?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. She
But before I
needs to
go-
go to senior awards.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive extremely fast through Amherst. So if I get a ticket, I'm gonna send it to y'all. I'll look at the rest of this tonight. But now, on one hand, this is just me, you know how I am. You say, let's stop technology. And on the other hand, I leave. You said, let's get rid of it. So now let's make our minds up. What is too, I know, we can talk about the league.
No.
What is too early to start? And I've been told, I've heard it both ways. The pen,
Well,
the pen and pencil is gone, and AI, and everything is here. And yet we say, we don't want to do it too soon. So I'm just leaving that.
Well, and I appreciate the comment, and it's important, right? Because when we talk about how do we teach AI or get kids ready in elementary for AI, we're not talking about actually using technology,
I know.
right? We're talking about how do we get them to think critically, to use their brains, right? And so that's the lack of technology that you need for that, right?
Tell me tomorrow. Tell me.
No, I think it's important for our audience to understand that as well, right?
Good luck tonight, Ms. Lagan.
And so I think, again, that's why that's so critical that we think about this as a phased approach. How do we teach our kids to be able to use information and do stuff with it, right? And part of that is beginning to teach them to think critically. But anyway, I think that's what the committee needs to put together, like with that, how early is too early? When do you phase that in, and what does that look like from elementary to middle to high school? I don't know what the right answer is. I just know that it's coming, and it's coming fast. And if we don't begin to change and prepare our kids when they graduate, we have not done our jobs.
I think
Ms. Saunders?
it's really hard to teach critical thinking when we have to teach to a test so kids can pass an SOL. I mean, it may not have a lot to do with their technology, and it may have something to do with it, but I know a lot of it has to do with we got to teach to a test. And so if those questions are off, I mean, you see it every day. If you ask a question is a little bit different, it throws people totally off. And so, we can't get away from them, so we've got to figure out how to work around it or work with it some other way.
I don't disagree with that. That's a conversation I've had with the administration a little bit as well, is that we do still have the SOLs that we have to deal with. And I hope we're not teaching to a test, right? If we're teaching to a test, we're failing, because we should be teaching students how to, the information they need. And that's where AI is going to change, right? Because the information is available, right? So there's a whole paradigm that's going to have to change in the way we educate our kids, and it's coming very quickly. But I appreciate the comments. Any other thoughts, board?
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Rossi?
So I had the opportunity of hanging out at the STEM graduation and the presentations that were there. And listening to some of those presentations, obviously AI was brought up. And it led me to understand a little bit more of it. And the students are basically saying, in a not so subtle way, that they know they're not ready for it, that they know it's coming and it's going to have an impact on college and their futures. It's coming that fast. My guess is if somebody is currently in school and maybe looking to be, a legal aid, that job might not be there in 2 years. It may be gone. And you're going to have to find better ways to use AI, understand how it works, so you're not one of those people that get left behind. Because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more job loss than people are ready to admit to. And we need our community to be on board, and our teachers need to be not afraid of it, but embrace it. I know when all this discussion started a year or so ago that I started paying more attention to it, teachers were afraid of, the students are just going to use it to cheat on tests. Well, teachers need to embrace AI and use it to their advantage and start to understand it, because if not, they may be replaced also. I'm not saying that AI is going to take out teachers. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the way of teaching is going to change. I'd rather it start here than somewhere else and leave us behind. So I think having a committee that understands it a lot better than I do and give us the direction we may need to discuss and go into, yes, I think that would be the right move. And I do believe that our kindergartners, first graders, it might be too early for technology, because you have to have the foundation. And for 250 years, this country has gotten the foundation without a computer. So I think we can get there without a computer for the first couple of years. Let them learn the basics, and then we can move them into the technology slowly, the progression, because there's going to be a curve, and it's going to be sharp, and it's going to hurt, and we better be ready for it.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Any other thoughts, comments, board? All right, so can I get consensus from the board to have the administration go ahead and form another committee to evaluate how to better integrate artificial intelligence and prepare our kids for the future of tomorrow that's coming today? Yes? Okay, all right. Dr. Hoden, you have your
Got it.
marching orders for that. Board, I appreciate your patience and as we talk through that. And I know it does seem a little contradictory. One hand we talk about let's reduce technology in K2, and then, well, wait a minute, how do we go and start preparing the kids? But again, preparing kids for that world is more than technology. It's how do we really use our brains to be able to accomplish tasks, right? Because the information is going to be available, but how do you use that information? So, all right. So that takes us to 10.
10 now, yep, instruction. Mr. Neighbors is taking care of a couple board members up there. The sun is blinding him up there, so take a quick pause on that.
No, I think the information you're getting ready to tell us is going to be some good stuff.
Collect myself here. Well, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Mr. Childress, I'm glad the sun is no longer in your eyes, sir. I hope that works out for you. I sent the board an email earlier this afternoon. A copy of that is included at your place, but did want to give a preliminary update. We are 2 whole days into testing as of yesterday. Today was our first day of 3rd grade testing. We have another day of that tomorrow, as well as some retakes coming up. But just kind of wanted to give a general overview of where we are at this juncture. Because we are very early in the process, I'm going to walk a little bit of a tightrope in regards to making sure I'm giving meaningful information, but not being overly specific, because we are talking about a data set that is, as we speak, still changing and evolving with students coming in, taking assessments, and as I said before, continuing through the end of this week. Definitely some things to be excited about with the initial returns on data. We are going all the way down to individual student level, but really looking a lot at our individual schools and grade levels within those schools. This week has been all about reading. That's the performance that we've been looking at. I think I've been on the phone with most of our administrators at this point. Some of those phone calls are very late into the night, looking at some data and asking some questions. But at the end of the day, we are seeing some very positive trends. Specifically, I wanted to shout out one of our cohorts at the elementary level, looking at the performance last year into this current year, and I provide a little more detail in the email about which grade level I'm referring to there, seeing some substantial growth from last year to this year. Those are also at schools that we wouldn't normally traditionally associate with that kind of jump, but we're talking, at least at this point with where the data set is, double-digit number increases from where we were last year. So some very exciting pieces there when we're looking at those individual grade levels and individual classes at some of our schools. We do have some data that we're very closely monitoring. A couple of our grade levels, one elementary, one in middle school. We want to see consistency with how students are performing, not just with each other, but what we've been seeing throughout the year, right? That's a big piece of it. We've kind of seen that trend with those growth assessments. We want to see that play out as we're getting to these end-of-year assessments and what we would expect to see. That is a data set that we expect to be heavily impacted as we have students that are qualifying for retakes, as we have more students that are completing those assessments. As I mentioned in my email, we also have alternative assessments for our students with disabilities that they are going to be coming on board with this data set as well. But I do think it's important to note that not everything is shiny at this point. There's still a lot that we are looking at, kind of waiting on that full data set to know where we are and what those next steps need to be. All of the conversations that we've been having in our office and the conversations I've been having with administrators this week, it's drilling down to that individual student level. Let's talk about why Josh got this score, whether we're talking about that scaled score or the vertical scaled score. What does that represent? How does that match up with how we know he's performing? How is that going to help us as we're going forward, not just the rest of this year, but into next year as well? So I'm appreciative. Already seeing a lot of those conversations centered around here's where we are, how we're going to continue to take steps forward and do well with it. But looking for that glimmer of hope that maybe that piece where we're going to say, yep, we've done some good things this year. There are some large increases, some very good things happening at some of our grade levels. Others, we're still waiting for some of that data to develop and see where we need to be. So a little bit of all over the place, perhaps, with that update, but wanted to be as comprehensive as I could be without being overly specific at this point in the data set being developed. But be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
So, Mr. Neighbors, just for my edification, to kind of repeat what we're hearing is, first, too early to really celebrate at this point.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But we are seeing some glimmers of hope, of light, that the scores are seemingly moving in a positive direction in comparison to what we've seen in the past.
Yep.
And that they are aligning with the mastery scores that have been sharing with us on a monthly basis.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
My question is in thinking about looking where our students are, and you mentioned that you're looking individually, the students that surprised us either way, right?
Yep.
Whom we thought were green or maybe yellow, and who maybe didn't make the bar.
Yep.
Are we evaluating those, and then the ones who we thought were red but maybe surprised us and did well?
Yep.
Evaluating, well, how did that happen?
Yeah, most certainly. And that's the best way to look at it, right? It's not always that negative connotation. We have those other surprises that are very welcome for students that outperform what that data set may look at. The question either way is why? What was it that resonated in that way, where we've had the student that wasn't performing to that level throughout the year, and all of a sudden it just fit on that given day and that given time. They were able to do what they needed to do. The opposite also being true. This just isn't consistent with what we've seen throughout the year. What can we tell about what happened either during that test session or in the lead up to that test session that may have had an impact on performance? Those are the types of conversations that we're already having even this early into the data set. And again, all kudos to administrators and teachers. The moment that data starts to flow to them, that's where the conversation goes. They are going student by student. Yep, that's exactly where I expected Josh to be. No, something was off here. Let's dig into that. Let's figure it out. Even looking question by question, where we're not quite hitting the mark, how can we move that student forward, particularly if we're talking about a student who's qualified for an expedited retake.
Awesome.
Yep.
And I guess, it's too early to really to know, but I would assume and I would hope that once this is all done and we do have some positive places to celebrate,
Yes, sir.
That we certainly give the credit what credit is due
100%.
to those hardworking teachers that
That's
are
correct.
literally boots on the ground,
Yep.
who have dedicated their lives to that.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm excited about, again, I shared with you before, looking at the report you're giving us and seeing the numbers grow.
Yep.
In the positive side is
That's right.
is a good thing. And I've also shared that, my expectation is that we see that
That's right.
in the end results. And so it sounds like we're heading in that direction. We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure.
Still very
Yep.
early
Very early.
to jump to that conclusion.
Yep.
But everything's moving in a positive direction.
Yep. Very
from what we can
encouraged,
tell. So,
for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Board, any other questions or thoughts? No?
Yep.
Well,
And-
I just want to finalize and say, again, great work on that. And again, we cannot encourage our teachers enough.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. And again, just looking at early returns, there's going to be some celebrations in some classrooms throughout the division here in the coming weeks. If the board liked this, if this was acceptable or good, I'm more than happy to do a weekly update and just kind of keep the board updated between now and the next meeting. I know it's a big data dump when we get to June and looking at all that, but I'm more than happy to keep providing highlights if that's okay.
Yeah, and while we certainly want to celebrate the things that are going well, we do need to hear the things that may not be going well as well, and so we can dive into those. So I don't want it to just be these are the bright moments, but hopefully that's all you will bring to us.
That would be wonderful, yes, sir. But we're making sure it's all the way around. While we're on accountability, I did want to share with the board. I had a couple of conversations with Dr. Crawford at the high school this week. He sent me an email that I'll be forwarding to the board here shortly, but related to our soon-to-be graduating seniors. So at the beginning of this school year, coming into day one, we had 91 seniors that were slated to graduate at the end of this year here in just a week or so that needed something in regards to verified credits for graduation, either an SOL or CT credential, something along those lines. As of right now, that number is down to one. There's one student who needs one more essay on that LAVC process that the board approved not too long ago. They expect that to be any minute now, and the number of them will then be 0. So that is something that I wanted to celebrate. I don't know how many people we have watching on YouTube, but all credit to the staff at the high school, the work that they do every single day to make sure that the main thing is the main thing. We've got to get these students graduated. We've got to make sure they're ready to take that next step. It's a tremendous achievement, and I didn't want to go without alerting the board to that excellent news this evening.
That's awesome. We don't normally like zeros, but in this
We
case,
like
we
that
will
zero.
celebrate that.
Yes, sir. We love that 0. Absolutely. But I'll be forwarding that email to the board so that you all can express your congratulations directly to Dr. Crawford, and he can share that with his staff because that's something to be celebrated for sure. Yep. All right. Well, moving right along, doesn't quite mean as much in our current climate of getting SOL tests done, but our monthly Mastery of Standards report, not too unusual in regards to how we're looking at that month over month. But we are at that time of year where we're a little less concerned about what's been done and a little more concerned about what's being done in regards to those test sessions with SOLs. But as always, if there are any specific questions with that, I'll be happy to answer for the board.
Well, for me, again, I think just looking at it, reading looks very positive, right? Very little on the red side. Math is still very concerning.
Yep.
And so I'm assuming we are putting things in place or have put things in place to
Yes,
help with that. And
Absolutely.
I'm hoping our results end up better.
I'm very eager to see the results here in the next 2 weeks. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, I'll keep on rolling on. Just a quick update on where we are with kindergarten and pre-K registration. So good news on kindergarten. We're right around 245 students currently registered for kindergarten next year. It's literally right at where we are this year, just slightly below where we were this time last year. So some good consistency there. We would kind of expect that with general trends to come down a little bit. But to be right where we are now, that's a good indication this time of year. We always get some friends that join us at the last minute and over the summer, so we certainly expect that number to go up. We were able to screen 159 of those students in April, so kind of got that first blush. How are we working with those kiddos? Got to meet those teachers, interact a bit. That's always a time that they appreciate having with those incoming students and knowing where they are. Pre-K, very happy to say that we are up a bit. It wasn't looking great a couple weeks ago, but we've actually come up and very, very similar to where we were this time last year. That is with increasing our referrals to Head Start. So we've been working much more closely over the last several years with that organization, Lynn CAG in Lynchburg. So even though we have more referrals going out to Head Start, we're still hold and serve with the number of students that we have already brought in and accepted for our program for next year. So in June of last year, we were just above, we were right above 60. So we started a little time before we get there this year. Right around this time, we were in those mid to upper 50s. So kind of right where we would expect to be this time of year to keep those seats filled. Very important next year to make sure we're filling as many of those seats as possible. As the board will recall, we've been held harmless from the state for our VPI seats for next year. We want to keep having that be the case. We need to have these seats because we fill these seats. We need to have those opportunities for families. So very excited to see that we're right on track with where we would want to be with registration for those students at this time. So some good things happening with our earliest learners. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Board, any questions? I did have a question on,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned the number of kindergartners and that we picked up some pre-K.
Mm-hmm.
Have we done projections or like a 5-year trend to see what our projections are for over the next 5 years? Because we're talking, there's mentions of needing to do an addition to an elementary school, and of course all the housing development that's taking place. Have we taken a deep dive into that and have a good understanding of what those projections, long-term projections are going to be?
Yeah, so deep dive, not as deep as we probably need to with that. We do have some of those projections available. What I would need to do is work with Dr. Hoden to make sure kind of all those projections as it relates to those developments in the area have fully been incorporated. We do get that information. We do have that internally, what we look at, but making sure we've incorporated those pieces would be important.
We also had, when we did our comprehensive plan, we had some folks from the county that were on our team. Mr. Rossi was on that, and we talked about the number of new developments coming in. The unknown is just how many people, and so
Right. Well, like how many will have kids?
Right.
Right. But they have a formula
Sure.
that they use for projecting that based on the type of housing and the use of that property.
Yes, sir.
I think it's important for us to really understand that, especially when we get to the point when we're seriously talking about additions.
Absolutely.
And, if you're, as you guys are already aware, when you're planning like the addition at the high school, that's a multi-year process before you ever get boots on the ground, right? So
Exactly.
you got to go through the planning phase of it. We need it. What is it going to look like? And then once you've decided that, then you got to do your civil designs, building design, architectural design, and then the building process itself. So that's a multi-year process. So,
Yes, sir.
Sir.
thank you.
All right. Well, if there are any other questions, I will keep on moving. You do have a memo that was in board docs as well as at your place from Ms. Cecil, our supervisor of school counseling, as well as Mr. Maddox, looking at our enrollment in some outside programs. So the governor's school program, early college, CTE Academy, STEM Academy, and kind of outlining what that process has looked like for this year. So again, with governor's school, CTE, and STEM, seeing that strong enrollment, strong interest, no problem filling those seats. Early college continues to be an area where we want to focus, make sure we're building up resume for students. That often suffers from students getting into other programs. So we have those students that are now in governor's school or CTE or STEM that applied for early college. So it pulls away some of those applicants, even though it's a larger number there. But making sure that we are providing that pathway and providing that guidance through our school counselors to make sure that they have what they need when the time comes to submit those applications. We'll say for the board's awareness, we are also working with CVCC on more dual enrollment offerings at the high school, all of which would be free of charge for the students that are there. Some of that uses the instructors that we already have in place at the high school. Others are virtual options that they can participate in. There are actually 2 pathways that we're working to develop with them. They're there. We're just kind of figuring out how we do that logistically with our folks. Passport, which is 15 credit hours, as well as a certificate program, it's 30 credit hours, and as a part of their relationship with in-state colleges and universities, or get some of that guaranteed transfer credit. So just trying to build more and more of those pathways where you don't necessarily have to leave Amherst to get access to that or leave the school to get access to it, and trying to build that as much as we can. But as usual, a lot of strong things here, a lot of good things happening for kiddos with these programs, and just wanted to provide that update to the board. Happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Yeah, as far as like the STEM Academy goes, we have, I think there were 6 students enrolled in that. Is that correct?
Should be 8 total,
8,
yeah.
8 total. And now I know some of the students were in the nursing programs, and then some of the students kind of did a little work at FlowServe. Now, other companies that want to get involved in that program, how would they get started in that? I know we've got, other manufacturing stuff going on in the area. If another company wanted to get on board with that, do they bring the, professor to the college? How does that all manifest, if you know?
Yeah, so ultimately it's all about that relationship with CVCC. I know some of that can also flow through divisions, making sure that we're kind of looking for what is next. So if it's that area of high demand, it connects to some of those data points within the specific region. That's really what they try to focus on. It's an area we really need to make sure we're bringing those folks up, bringing those kids along in training, but that's absolutely something that we could put together if there's recommendations along those lines. I know Mr. Maddox would be happy to have some of those conversations, as well as Ms. Matheny and Cecil. Yep.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep on moving. My last one this evening is our Medicaid update. We had our first monthly report for the board here. A couple of things with this. One, I want to ensure that this is what the board would like to see on a monthly basis. We want to be able to give some of that historical context of what we received in prior years, but also represent where are we now. As you can see, we are seeing that increase in interim billing. The interim is that monthly billing, that more frequent billing that's done based on the services we're providing for students. Gets a little more convoluted when we're talking about that quarterly billing or cost settlement procedures. Some of that is still outstanding. We're waiting for some of that money to come in. But when we're talking about budgetary impact, when we're talking about really being able to plan and program counting on this money. That interim billing is what Ms. Lakonich and myself consistently go to. Are we seeing that rise to that level of being consistent enough to support not just what we already have, but continuing to grow some of those supports and services for students? But at this point, just wanted to make sure that this was what the board would like in regards to the representation there. We tried to distill it down as much as we could, but we just want to be real and want to be open about what we're actually getting in, what that looks like year over year.
So if we could we just kind of go through? So interim claims means that we've submitted for reimbursement for that.
Yes.
But have not yet received it.
No, sir. Everything you see there as a dollar sign on that chart, that's actual money that's come back.
Oh, that has come back.
That's
okay,
right.
So that's money
So it's a little bit of an odd thing because of how the money comes back to us, and Ms. Lakonich can certainly smack me in the back here if I'm explaining anything incorrectly. We get some of that money later, so it might be a fiscal year or sometimes even two behind when we're thinking about quarterly billing or we're thinking about cost settlement. Interim billing is I submit it 1 week, and a week or two later we get that money back.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that quick turnaround. That's that money that we feel like we can consistently count on, maybe is the way to say that.
Right. Board, any thoughts, questions?
Yeah, and I appreciate this being put up. That's what I was looking for when I had asked for this.
Great.
The only other thing that I think what might benefit is the amount of, not the dollar amount, but the amount of claims.
Gotcha.
Do we put in 60? Do we put in 360?
Yeah.
Just to see what that need is
Sure.
might be, I mean, it doesn't have to break it down just to say, this many claims.
Absolutely. And we can talk about that. Probably will relate more so to that interim billing component.
Correct.
But we could also break that out for the others. We can look at that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, just the, if we get this once a month, or a quarter, so we're doing quarters on this, or are we doing this once a month?
We can do this every month for you.
Yeah,
The
then
interim
just-
billing is the one that's going to change the most, but the others are also going to trickle in as they become available.
All right. Thank you.
Right, because the ultimate goal is that we get enough billing that would end up paying for the person that's doing the claims.
Yes, sir.
But then also those lab positions that we put into the schools.
That's right.
That are providing those services.
Yeah, and then hopefully expand from there.
Expand services.
Realize that money coming in to be able to create more opportunities for support.
Right.
Absolutely.
But look, and not trying to focus on
No, please.
negative.
Yeah.
But looking at what we're seeing right now, we're not meeting that bar.
We're not there yet. No, sir.
Right. And
Yeah.
is that because we're just slow getting the claims put in, or because we haven't generated enough services to ask for those claims?
No, it's the timeline. So the behavioral services, which is a big focus of what we're looking at going forward, those have just come online. That was that set of services where we were waiting, I think it was over a year at one point, to get claims even approved by the state. So it's been on the books for a while. We're only, at this point, 6 or 7 months into being able to actually get those reimbursements back for behavioral supports. That was the big hang up with
Okay,
it.
so-
We really expect that to start going up.
So then there are claims that we've submitted but haven't gotten approval on.
In certain respects, there are not with interim at this point. What you see up there is what we've submitted and what we've gotten back, with maybe some limited exception. Very, very recent claims would be on there. I explained that right? Okay.
Okay. What would you estimate the claims that we've asked for but haven't gotten approved back yet?
So depending upon which one you're talking about there, with quarterly or with cost settlement, that can vary pretty drastically. Ultimately, if we're looking at those three categories, so what we have for this year for quarterly and cost settlement, and then last year's cost settlement, you're talking about 6 figures. You're talking about a rather sizable amount of money when all of that gets submitted and reimbursed. Part of our cost settlement for this year, we won't even submit that until later this calendar year. So that's kind of that delay component to it.
And so when we get that money back,
Yep.
and this is probably a question for Ms. Conch, do we have to do special requests from the Board of Supervisors to be able to incorporate that into that year's budget that would pay for those positions? Or would that go into our year-end balance that then gets converted into CIP?
So we do have in our operating budget a set amount of Medicaid dollars. Anything that goes above that, we would come back to you as a supplemental appropriation. and we can tell you how we're going to spend it. And yes, ultimately, that does go to the Board of Supervisors. If it's not being spent, it would, it would go into and affect our year-end funds, because these are expenditures that happened in the prior year.
Correct.
Yes.
Mr. Childress?
Justice.
Thank you. This is very helpful, especially when I'm looking at our supplemental appropriation that we voted on earlier. So when I look at the appropriation, it says Medicaid 200,000. Is that referring to some of these funds?
Yes, we have received $232,000 this fiscal year. Again, it can be from things from the prior year, but that is what we have actually received into the bank account. And it is exceeding, we wanted to start this off budgeting it conservatively, because we can't control how fast it, the system works. But we were able to put 200,000 in this supplemental appropriation to help cover some of the costs. And we are experiencing costs this year, as well, the personnel and some of the contracted services. So that's going to help cover those.
And are we able to reimburse for like our best labs yet?
Yep. So we are able to do that. Ultimately, there's a process when we're looking at eligibility of the individual students accessing that. There's licensure components with those best lab techs, which that was part of the front loading we did with that program to make sure we were there. We also had a number of test balloons when we knew that we should be able to reimburse for behavioral services. They weren't allowing to do that. We had that kind of lined up. So those are still things that are coming online. We're looking at what that number is going to end up being. The short answer is yes, but there was kind of a lot of front-loading work that needed to be done to make sure we could.
So would our best labs fall under interim claims?
They will, and actually, depending upon which part of it we're talking about, any individual service could fall under any of those three categories. We can reimburse for different pieces. So the direct services we're providing, the actual costs associated with having the personnel as a part of it, and then anything we're doing from a material standpoint, anything we're doing from a training and development standpoint. Our administrator here at SAO that does a lot of our Medicaid reimbursement, all those pieces can also come into play. So that's also part of the puzzle we're putting together. How many different ways can we access parts of these funds to be able to continue to have that number go up?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I like this report a lot. It definitely gives the board, so we've been asking a lot about this over a period of time, and it's good to have it, and it's good to see the numbers going up.
Good.
And it's extremely good to hear, that we put 200,000 back into the account. So
Absolutely. All right. Well, I ended on finance tonight. Thank you very much. If there are any questions going forward, please let me know.
All right, that takes us to number 11.
11, yes, sir. So for administrative, just a couple construction updates. I'll let Mr. Rokes talk about that. But we're still continuing on some work at the CTE wing. So, Mr. Rokes.
Yeah, so as far as the CTE wing, the Ag Lab it's just about finished. We're having a few little things we got to do as far as the firewalls go in there. But that's pretty much complete. All the cabinetry and stuff like that is in place. The what's happened in the last week and a half, the classroom, one of the additional classrooms, which is right across from the culinary area, that's actually been demoed. Door frame got put back in, the wall built back up, and it's actually, I think, got painted today. So that is progressing well, too. That's just an additional classroom we'll have down on the CTE wing. We've also begun moving things out of the welding lab in preparation to that work. As you know, it's going to be a very tight schedule over the summer. And so Mr. Johnson's working with us, and we're getting those areas cleared out a little bit. I think his last day he'll be using stuff is this coming Friday. And next week we'll hit it pretty hard to get it emptied out so that hopefully the week of Memorial Day we can get in there and start doing some actual work. The other thing we'll be doing over the summer, actually the week of June the 29th, is paving the lots at the high school, all the lots except for the two new lots, the one right behind the new addition and the other new lot we built where the house was. All the other lots, junior lot, senior lot, the ramp at the football field, parking lot out front, all that stuff is going to get paved the week of the 29th as well. So it's going to be a very hectic summer.
Board, any questions? I just want to say thank you. I know firsthand all the work and effort that you put into this project, and if you only have to go visit the high school and see the beautiful auditorium, the cafeteria, those new classroom spaces to know what a great job you guys are doing and our general contractors doing on site. So keep it up.
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, you have in front of you the suspension report for April. Any questions? All right, and next, 11.03, student services. Do you have the Best Lab update? Any questions on that? Okay. All right. Ms. Lukanich, 12, Finance.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Before you tonight are your April financial reports. One thing I want to point out is on your child nutrition revenue, the April revenue is looking really low. Their monthly reimbursements that they get from the state, it was not received until May 1st, so that $306,000 is not reflected. But I can assure you that it did come in, but it's not on these reports. You'll still see that child nutrition still has a spending deficit, but remember that they had that excess balance that they were required to spend down. We purchased the high school equipment in the kitchen, and that money is going to be coming to you in a end of the year appropriation to approve that overspending. On the operation side, we're winding down. We're still waiting for our final calc tool that should come in June. Our ADM is trending higher still, looking at what it was in March, 3645 versus the 3615 that our budget was built on. Sales tax is still showing strong. We still have 4 months, so even though we're currently in May, and this report is through April, our sales tax will go through August for this budget revenue reports. On our object code report, I probably need to point out that in preparation for my next topic on the bonus, we did go ahead and expense an additional $1.5 million to our health insurance. That is to fund the claims that we are experiencing this year. I felt that you all needed to see this report with that being reflected before you make a decision. So that is in there. The professional services you're going to see is over budget. The Medicaid money is going to assist with that overage, as well as some of the other grants will take care of the instructional materials, and the VPSA will take care of some of the technologies. But so do you have any question on this before we go to the bonus?
Are you concerned at all about where we are in the budget and any of the overspending?
No, we've talked about it, and everybody realizes that this is a year to not be coming to say, hey, with year-end funds, can we buy this and buy this? It has been a rough year with the health insurance claims. We've had high claims. We've also had more people come onto the plan, and it wasn't built into our budget. So we had that from two fronts. But as you can see, when you look at this report, we still have some available. But you won't be seeing the year-end funds that you're used to seeing.
And then on the, I guess the plus side, though, is the higher enrollment, right? Because what do you calculate, about a little over 9,000 per student, and you're talking how many students?
It's about it's about 30 students. When I looked at the calc tool, because the February one that had the bonus funds in there reflected the 3645, it was about $300,000 more in state funding because of that ADM increase. And our sales tax is trending. I would feel comfortable to give an estimate of about $100,000 over what is out there. But again, you've got to wait to that June the final capital. But there is additional state revenues from that area.
All right. Well, that's why I wanted to bring that up, right? Because it's not all
Absolutely.
doom and gloom,
Right.
right? So there are some positives that we can highlight
Absolutely.
within the budget.
And there's still, I know Mr. Neighbors just stepped out, but, previous conversations, we may receive that, another Medicaid cost report. And that would just be additional funds as well.
Thank you. So let's go to the fun topic of bonuses.
Okay, so at your place, you should have two sheets. One is just the revenue that will state the revenue, because I threw a lot of numbers at you at that one board meeting. These are what the state is funding and what the locality, what our required local match is. The second sheet is the recommendation for the retention bonus, the eligibility requirements. So,
And remember, I gave you that one sheet last week as well, just one
correct.
small
That-
correction.
So you're talking about this sheet here, correct? This is one.
Yes, that is the,
Board.
Colorful.
and then it's not colorful, this one.
And then board.
And I believe you had this the last
I gave
week.
that to you last week, yes, sir.
The only thing we added was one bullet, just said that the employment had to be continuous. So I'll give you a chance to look at it. The state funding plus the required local match, this is what we had given you previously as to what we're required to spend. If we actually took our list of employees and made the adjustments of who is leaving and who would not be deemed eligible under those parameters, and that's what you get at the bottom, the estimated bonus cost.
Right, and so, correct me where I'm wrong, but the board, 2 meetings ago, I think, gave consensus to say, yes, we were gonna proceed with the bonus. But that's not a guarantee that we were gonna do the bonus, right?
That's
Because
correct.
depending on what these numbers look like, the board needs to make a decision, right? And so, again, just being transparent, so the total cost for the bonus would be $679,003.
That is correct. And I just want to state that it's ever changing by, one person coming in, so it's going to be not exact, but this is the estimate as of today.
Correct. And so of that 679,000, our local component of that would be 218,119.
That is correct. Our required local is the 198,935, but based off of our current count.
Right,
that
in
would
order
be
for
our-
us to give the bonus to the people we
That is
said we were gonna
correct.
give it to.
That's accurate.
We're looking at 218,119.
Right.
Right.
And because we're going to use this as a retention bonus, if we were to get a resignation, that number would drop because that person would not get the bonus.
Correct.
So we're going to use this, our goal would be to use this as a
Yeah,
retention bonus.
could you speak up?
Sorry.
Mr. Porter's having a
Yeah,
hard time
sorry.
hearing you.
So that we'd use this as a retention bonus. So if someone gave the resignation, they would not get the bonus. So those numbers would then go down.
Correct, that would drop our need, the
Correct.
overall
Yes,
amount,
sir.
but just
Right.
worst case scenario, these are kind of the numbers we're looking at, right?
Yes,
So
that
again,
is correct.
For those listening online, $679,003 is what the bonus would cost us altogether, and then our match would be $218,119. How much of a bonus are we talking about giving to, because we'd have a different for full-time and part-time, correct?
Yeah, it's $1,000 for full-time and
So-
$500 for part-time.
So a full-time
Roughly.
employee staying with us, new hires don't get it,
Correct.
right? So if they're just coming on, they wouldn't get the bonus. But people staying on, full-time would get 1,000 and part-time would get 500.
Correct.
So there is, just for transparency, if you look at the recommendations, there is a section for full bonus and a partial bonus. The partial bonus is, we are still hiring people this month that haven't been here the entire year. But we did not want to exclude them, but we broke, and if they come back next year, we definitely want to recognize that. but it seemed this proposal, is that we're recommending will separate the people that have worked
All
at
year
least a
versus part of the
semester to all year versus someone that's been here a month and getting a retention
So what's the
bonus.
break on it? What if they started in December?
They would receive it. So if you look on this, it's going to be employees who were contracted and paid after the divisions. I'm sorry, I'm going to the wrong one. The employees who were contracted and paid on the division's January 2026 payroll and who meet all the other eligibility requirements will qualify for the full bonus amount. So they would have to have been here at the start of the second semester. Employees who were contracted and paid after the division's January 2026 payroll and who meet all other eligibility requirements will qualify for a partial bonus amount.
Okay.
That's all based on contract. If they sign their contract this year is what will make them. So if they came in half a year last year, they would get the $500 bonus if they sign contract for next year.
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, and they want us to get the money until they're back next year, because this is gonna be paid out in July, correct?
We actually
Or no?
discussed this.
Initially, it was July.
Okay.
So I asked Ms. Lukanich when it would be best for her folks, and she said June. So in our discussion today, we wanted to make sure it would work because June 15th is kind of a magical time when folks have to say that they are coming back. So if they sign their contract by June 15th, we're able to give that at the end of June, according to Ms. Lukanich.
Are we able to add a caveat that if they decide to leave and not actually return, that they have to return the bonus?
So if they, Jim, you can talk about what happens if there's a lot of things that happen after June 15th.
Well, at least for, teachers and licensed contracted individuals, once you signed your contract, after June 15th, you're not permitted to be released from contract unless it's for promotional opportunity, but you can't have a lateral move to another division without implications on your license and impact. And that's all divisions here regionally practice that. So if you're locked in on the 15th, then you're not going to leave, unless, of course, you leave for a promotion, which we do permit. And beyond that, they're locked in, if that makes sense. That does not necessarily impact support staff contract in that regard.
What would be the implication to put that caveat in there, Ms. Lukanich?
I think putting it in there is not a problem.
Yeah. It's the
Trying to
legality
enforce
of-
it,
yeah,
it's
how do
going
you
to
enforce
be
it?
difficult.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if that's something that can then be pulled from the final payout if in fact if it's in the contract, no.
Say the payout would have been would be in the July payroll for people that aren't 12 months, and we're not going to know if they actually return until
Right.
August.
Yeah, that would be after.
But if we did it in July, like we talked earlier, that was still going to be, other than your 12-month, that would still be a risk.
She just has new payroll, so I kind of
Yeah.
privied to her on that to what was best.
Yeah, we don't want to create any
however
havoc
you-
either.
Yeah.
Ms. Justice, you had a comment?
Yes, sir. So if I understand correctly, the framework that's being presented is upon signing a renewal of a contract,
Yes.
they
So it'll
get
be a
this
retention bonus.
Yeah, they get a bonus. Okay.
Well, it's not when they sign it. They would get the bonus in the June 15th.
If they
or
signed it.
The June
Yeah.
30th.
The June 30th payment.
Right, but they would have to sign a new contract in order to qualify.
Correct. Yeah, I was just, and I apologize, I was just clarifying, they don't get it when they sign it, but June 30th.
Correct.
The
Right.
final paycheck
that's
for the
what you
year.
agree to.
Correct.
Yeah.
But they would have to sign it in order to get it.
Correct.
Yes.
Any other thoughts? So when do you need a decision from the board on if we want to proceed with that? You need it tonight?
Yes, sir. Because we don't have another meeting until.
Call Priscilla.
Yeah, so this is a big one because, so the net effect for me, right, and this is what we talked about last time, because, I mean, nobody wants to be the guy that says, did not vote for a bonus. But the conversation we had earlier about, we already cut CIP items to keep those new instructional positions in, we're now going to potentially be taking out almost an additional $250,000, so $218,000, right, to fund a bonus. What impact will that have on year-end funds? Because that will come out of year-end funds, right? Our rollover money that would be CIP, that we use for CIP next year. So I guess for me, I need to hear from you, Dr. Hoden, and I need to hear from Ms. Laconich that this is not going to negatively affect our plans for CIP and the things that we've got to get done. We had a whole conversation about that earlier. We got to have good buses. We got to have clean schools, balls painted, those type of things. What type of impact is this going to have?
So I know Ms. Lukanich was crunching numbers up until this afternoon to do this, because I wanted to make sure that, that we could do it. And I think at the end of the day, what you have to weigh out is, as Mr. Gallagher and his staff, retention is our new recruitment. So I think that this is something that would be a great morale boost, and it would be great if we could do it. And yes, there are some trade-offs, but I'll let, Ms. Laconich talk about that a little bit. But, I think that we feel that we can make this happen. And, the other side of that, I would hate to turn back $450,000.
So I've been doing projections. I mean, we encumber all of our payrolls. We have open POs for everything, that's non-personnel. I still have to set aside stuff. We still have, subs that we're going to pay. We're going to have summer school. We have leave payout. If you look at the reports, as of right now, we have encumbered in non-personnel $925,000. Even taking all that into consideration with the additional state funds, looking at the sales tax, I still look at about $500,000. But again, that can change, based off of what the actual payrolls are. We may get more Medicaid money in. That would be great. One option is, we're in this situation because we had a $1.5 million health insurance that, that we needed to do to fund everything. We do have a health insurance reserve. I would not want to deplete that, but were you to take $200,000 out to help cover the health insurance, it would free that up to do the bonus if you so desire. The health insurance fund currently has $1.7 million. So
We
that would,
can't touch that. That's not an option.
okay, so right now, and again, I'm going to say this is unofficial because until the audits are done, what we have in our carryover, our year-end funds is around $1.1 million. That is my calculation. That is not confirmed with the county.
So we will be taking the 218,000 out of the 1.1 million.
It would come out of I'm estimating about $500,000. So it would be reduced. It would be about. It would come out of our current year. It would not fall into year-end funds. It would be expensed in this year if we pay it in June.
Correct. Right.
So it would just minimize what's being added.
That's what I'm saying. It will reduce that.
That's correct.
So help me understand again, because we said 1.1 million and you said $500,000. What's the $500,000?
So the 1.1 is what's actually the county is holding those funds. It is not our current year budget. I'm still looking at projecting our revenue versus our expenditure to see what we could potentially add to those funds. And right now, I feel comfortable saying $500,000.
So you're suggesting that our carryover might be $500,000?
Yes.
And then we'd be taking the 218 out of the $500,000?
That was actually after I did the.
That would be after.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if we pull the 218, we would still have
$500,000.
$500,000.
And again, that could go up if we get the Medicaid. If there's still a lot of moving parts. Our health insurance could go the other way. We're covering 1.5. If it goes the other way, we have a few more months. But again, you still, if that came to, as opposed to overspending a budget, which we don't want to do, you may then look at, if we have further deficits, go into the reserve if we need to. So it is definitely a tough decision.
And I'm certainly not trying to put you on the spot or the administration, but do you feel comfortable where we're at and the board approving that amount?
I feel comfortable where we're at, with the caveat of we're not going to be putting a lot of money into CIP. And your tough decisions are going to be because currently our CIP is frozen until after the audit. So once we're ready to go and we have that number, we're going to have to revisit and probably shift some of the projects. I mean, $1.5 million is a huge number to absorb.
1 second, Priscilla Liggins calling. I don't know if she's trying to call into the meeting. Would you mind, board? Hey, Ms. Liggins, did you want to call in? Yeah, we are. Would you like to be added virtually?
Have to do something to them.
We are discussing the bonus.
I don't think she can rejoin, sir, because we didn't do that in the beginning.
Well, 1 second, we're clarifying if we can even add you in right now. Could you come back to the meeting to be in person?
If we do a vote?
Okay, yeah, come on back.
Okay, that's better.
She's going to come back. So I'd rather, if we can, board, let's wait for Ms. Liggins to come back. I'd love to get her input on it as well. And we don't have a lot of audience members out there that we're killing time either, so.
It's fine.
I got a question. What's stopping us from doing a 2-year or 3-year contract for teachers? Is there anything stopping us legally?
Yes.
Yes.
And what exactly is that?
Funding is number one. We don't have funding to commit us to hiring them for.
It's just the way that contracts are yearly.
It is true, it is true, and they do all
Well,
go.
some contracts I know, because we've signed them here for more than
Yeah.
1 year. So, yeah, I understand that, but that's still budget money, it's still funding. So I don't know why there's an exception for superintendent and not possible
Well,
teachers.
I can't give you the actual legal backing on that, except the fact that it's not done anywhere, and that they're always year to
Well,
year.
just because it's not done doesn't mean
I
it's
understand
not
that,
legal.
but I didn't say that. I said I could find that information for you, and to say that's something you'd have to look into. That's not something you could just make a decision this evening, but you can certainly look into that possibility. I think it's highly unlikely for a variety of reasons, but what I can do is kind of dig into the possibilities and what the positive or negative implications of that would be.
The other reason is that come to mind immediately are the financial. So each year, that changes based on step or based on, what the, increase would be. So,
You'd never be able to lock them in at any rate because that changes year to year. So you can only give them 1 year worth of a rate. And the likelihood is people wouldn't commit because they probably would also want the flexibility year to year.
And some people want the security of more than just a 1-year contract, so.
I understand. I can
think
find that
that's something we
information
might wanna
about
look
all
into.
angles. I can certainly look at all angles and kind of just let folks know kind of what that would look like and come back with that.
And board,
As long as
while
we
we're
got
waiting
some
on
time.
Ms. Liggins, I guess I need to make a statement as far as potential conflict of interest. My wife is a teacher, and so if we approve this bonus, she would get that bonus. So I just wanted to be transparent with the audience listening to this. I do have a potential conflict with that.
So I believe, Mr. Childress, in that situation, if there was a conflict of interest, I think you can just abstain, right?
I can. I mean, I can vote as long as I've made it clear, but I
Right.
can also abstain.
Mr. Childress, if you'd like, while we're waiting, do you want to move to HR, let Mr.
Yes. Yeah, let's, so we're going to table.
Now we got Jim warmed up.
Yeah, we're going to table
that's right.
the
Yeah.
bonus discussion and move to
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher.
And Mr. Rossi, I will get information on that and get back to you, just so we can answer that question. But again, formally, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The first item that I have for HR is our vacancy memo for the evening, so you have that in front of you and can take a look at that. Happy to answer any questions. As you know, that has ebbed and flowed throughout the course of this year. And what you have in front of you, 4 of those have been hired since we posted this last week. And we've got 10 positions that are either interviewing or we have offers out. So there's always movement, but it has grown in some areas and reduced in some areas since last time. It's a lot of activity this year, but we are always constantly active to be trying to fill those as quickly as possible. Also speaks to the fact that getting those new positions posted quickly is of great benefit. So while we have individuals out there and qualified individuals, we want to definitely strike while the iron's hot.
Do I really see only one bus driver?
No, no, on that side, and that's the position, and I don't have them listed by numbers on that. So I think that would be the same, which I believe was 4 and 3 from full-time and part-time.
Any other questions, comments, board?
Okay. All right. Well, the next piece that we have is that we have our employee work calendars just for informational purposes there. We provide those to the board every year for all the different areas and classifications of our contracted employees, whether that be from the 180-day through the 250-day contracts, which just outlines their different work schedules and calendars, days off, and the days that they're actually working throughout. So those are there for your review, and if you have any questions for any of those, I'm more than happy to answer.
Hearing none.
And lastly, and potentially most importantly, just a reminder of the retirement reception next Wednesday, which is the 20th, over at Sweetbriar College Prothrow Dining Hall. We'll be taking an opportunity to reflect on and celebrate all of our amazing retirees from Amherst County Public Schools. So you all are on the invitation list. Have all of y'all included for that, and I hope that each and every one of you will be able to participate. It's always an amazing event, hopefully good food, and a time to get together and just recognize and celebrate folks who have put so much time and effort into this county, to our students and our families, and to each other. So I do hope that everybody will join us next Wednesday at Prothrow for our retirement ceremony.
Mr. Gallagher, what time is that, please?
That starts at 6 o'clock. So right at 6, we will start. You want to get there a little early because you might have a little bit back up there at the gate. So
Well, last time it poured rain, so I was glad I was not late.
I can't predict the weather or try to do anything with that, but hopefully it'll be a nice.
I beat the weather.
So hopefully everybody will come out.
Thank you.
Mr. Gallagher, how many retirees we got this year?
I think it's 22, I believe, and they'll be coming. I think it's 21, 22, and they'll be coming with the and one, right? So they can come with their one other individual, and just should be a very nice evening. As you remember, we get to reflect on each one of them individually for their experience and their time with Amherst County Public Schools, and present them with their rocking chair that they have earned and well deserved. So hopefully you all will be there. Yeah.
And real quick, do you know offhand what that total years of service is?
No,
Okay,
not.
I'm just curious.
I do have that, but I haven't calculated and pulled it together. But I'll certainly have it for that evening. So, yeah. Thank you. That's all I have for the evening.
Mr. Chair, before we go back to the other, I conferred this with Ms. Lukanich. May ease up what y'all are thinking up there. So your next board meeting is June 11th, and if you want to table that to the vote till the next meeting, we could have it ready and then wait. So I conferred with her, so that might make things a little bit easier. She'll have funds a little bit closer. We should have our calc tool by then. And so we're fine. I wanted to make sure that she didn't do that, so I know. So, if that makes it easier, we would probably have our pencil sharpened a little bit more as well.
We would just have more data. We'd have another month's worth of data.
Okay. board, what's your pleasure on that? So we're talking about the bonus and whether we want to, we originally asked it to approve it tonight, but now it looks like we can wait till the meeting on the 11th, June 11th, of which I will not be present for that meeting. I will need to call in for it, but in which case for this, I will abstain from voting since I will have a direct conflict.
Sir.
Mr. Childress, so returning to the bonus and year end, just for figures. So if we were to do the 219, we would only have a rollover of about $500,000 to go into our CIP from unspent funds, correct? Minimally.
Yes, and again, I always prepare for the worst case, and that's why another month we would have the May payroll known, and we would only be projecting the June. But that is what we have this evening is $500,000.
And in our insurance account, we have 1.7 million, right?
That's in the reserve.
That's in the reserves.
At the county.
Okay,
yes.
so, but we had to spend 1 million extra in claims this year, is that correct? That we're having to reabsorb, that's,
Correct. We tried not to go into the
we
reserve.
don't want to go into that, no,
Just because
no.
that is our safety net.
Well, I recall in our budget meeting in March, we were talking about the significance that we aren't currently contributing
Correct.
adequately to that reserve.
We have not added to it since we became self-insured.
Okay. So if we were to go with the bonus, which thankfully we're not voting tonight, that's the equivalent of 1.5 buses, about, right? 219,000. A new bus is 150?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
2 buses would be $300,000.
Yeah, roughly. And again, you guys haven't decided yet, so you guys would need to make a motion and vote on it if you want to table that, right?
We don't need to make a motion to table it because we didn't never.
Okay, that's fine.
We've never addressed it.
Right, Ms. McNerney? Okay, no vote, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just a consensus, yes, sir.
Board,
I suggest we table it for next month. We will have more information and real numbers and still have enough time to, should the board choose to, implement it as a retention.
right, and again, I want to be clear to anyone listening to this online. You know, this is a retention bonus, and we certainly as a board want to do it. But we've got to be fiscally responsible and make sure that we're able to do it, right? And so we don't want to put the money out there and then suffer next school year because we don't have the adequate funding that we need for CIP or health insurance or what have you. So, you know, I appreciate us being methodical and thinking through this and making sure that we can do it. So, Ms. Conch?
I would just want to ask, is the requirements that we propose, the recommendation, are you in agreement with those? Because we're going to, we have a quick turnaround if you do say June 11th. We're going to have to go ahead and start preparing.
So let's review it again for Ms. Ligon that just came in, if you don't mind.
Okay. So it's this piece of paper. We did make a little adjustment to it. So it is a retention bonus. They have to be under contract this year and be returning for next school year. And they have to have signed their contract by June 15th because it's going to be due to the county the following day in order for us to meet it if we pay it in June. Employees who are contracted and paid on the division's January payroll, so they have been there all the first semester, and at the start of the second semester, they will qualify for the full bonus amount. Employees who are contracted and receive their first paycheck after that, so February or beyond, they would be eligible for a partial bonus amount. If someone has separated and then comes back, we're going to use that separation. The date that they come back the second time whether or not they qualify. So this lists everything. The full-time employees are those that work 6 hours or more per day, 30 or more hours a week. Part-time are less than 6 hours, less than 30 hours a week. And then, so that gives us the full bonus of 1,000, a part-time bonus of 500. If they've come in the second half of the year, they would be eligible as a full-time for 500, as a part-time partial of 250. And we did that because we've hired people this month, and we don't want to exclude when they come back, but at the same time, they haven't been here in the current year in any long period of time. So if you're okay with those parameters, we're going to use those as we build it and prepare in case you do approve the bonus.
My question is, where did we come up with the 30 hours as full-time?
That is what we use for VRS.
That's VRS.
VRS,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
And
Board,
just-
any comments on that? Everybody okay with?
Mr. Childers?
Mr. Rossi?
I have one thing, yeah.
So I'm probably going to catch a little shade for this, but I think in the future, when we start talking about bonuses, and I understand that we're trying to use this as a retention bonus, maybe in the future, when we start structuring bonuses for teachers, they should be based on performance of teachers. Maybe instead of, we can combine it with retention, but also performance with what are their scores like? Are their students passing? And maybe that's what makes them eligible for the full bonus and not the retention part and the full bonus instead of just the retention part. And maybe we need to look at structuring bonuses in the future based on job performance. That's what a bonus is for.
Right.
And then you could break it into retention and job performance.
So the way this money comes in from the state, Mr. Rossi, they give us the money for the SOQ funded positions. It's not given to us like that, so that's.
So are you just going to give them the SOQ funded positions, or are you giving it to everybody?
No, sir, we have to, that's why we
Okay,
have.
well,
Yeah, right.
there you are.
Well, I think what he's trying to express, Mr. Rossi, is that the non-SLQ funded positions aren't the teaching ones. They would be our technicians, our bus drivers, our maintenance workers that would.
So they'd be eligible for the retention bonus, but not necessarily a performance bonus.
Correct. And
So
what he's saying
should
is
we
that we
split
can't
it
do a
out that way?
performance bonus with the teachers because the money's not given. It was either all or nothing.
Right.
They all get, either you fund your entire SOQ or none.
Right.
You can't pick and choose. Am I correct on that?
That's right, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
that's because the portion of it that is state funded.
Correct. The state mandates that.
All right, well, board, we got some work to do.
Can
we
I just
need
add one
performance.
comment, if I could? And it's just out there, just for consideration, the timing of the decision. Between now and, 1 month from now in June, it's a big time when a lot of people are making decisions as to whether to sign their contracts that go out tomorrow. So for retention bonus, the impact of them knowing that they have that pretty soon, I think would increase people to sign their contracts and to remain under contract. Whereas if they don't know till almost that June 15th cut, that may make a big difference in the retention aspect. And I know you have a lot of other factors. That's just one of them. Knowing that that's out there when when contracts come out tomorrow, I think is an incentive to get people under contract. Whereas if they don't know that until it's time for them to make a decision to leave, then they could make other decisions based on that. I just need to throw that out there because it is retention based.
Yeah, and I totally understand that, the retention aspect of it, but as a board, we need to be responsible enough. If we have to step back and say, okay, we can't answer this question right now, I trust our teachers will make the decision knowing that we have the bonus. It looks like by the board's consensus that we do want to give the bonus. However, we got to be responsible about giving it. And I trust our teachers enough to understand where we're at after all the budget talks and the Board of Supervisors meetings. We can't just, invest all this money and take it from CIP or take it from other positions, so.
I understand that. I was just making the point, just
Yeah,
from different areas.
I
certainly
totally
the
understand,
decision.
and, you know, $1,000 is a lot of money right now. It definitely is. Would it change somebody's decision? I don't know. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's, I think maybe they've already had their decision made, and this might sweeten the pot a little bit, but I think the decisions for the retention has probably already been figured out.
Mr. Terry?
So I know in years past, we have moved the June meeting up a week. You've already expressed that you wouldn't be available. Is that something that gets us any extra time? Does it give us enough data time? Does it give a better approval and get it out? I'm just throwing it out there as an option because.
Probably
like I said,
wouldn't have the calc tool, Mr. Terry is what Ms.
I probably
Incline
wouldn't
said.
have the calc tool.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say for certain I'll have it at the current.
It's more likely June 11th.
But we would know,
Okay.
we would have another
But that's a great thought.
few weeks of health insurance claims, and we would have another payroll under the belt, so.
Yeah, and again, let's go at it this way, to try and address your concern, Ms. Gallagher, because I think it's a valid concern, right? We're trying to do this as a retention tool, but at this point, I don't know that we feel comfortable, partly because I don't know that the administration feels 100% comfortable, right? And it's not trying to put anybody in a spot, but we've got to be fiscally responsible. But I think we give consensus from the board that all things being equal, and if we're still looking at, $500,000 carryover, I think the board would be amenable to approving it. So, again, I think that helps with your concerns. The board will want to do it. I think if you ask anybody individually, again, I can't speak for them, but I think they would all say, yes, we want to give the retention bonus. But board, would you mind if we did a consensus on that? I know it's kind of asking how you'd vote at the next meeting, but everybody kind of feel leaning towards, if it stays at $500,000 for our carryover, would you feel comfortable providing this bonus, knowing that 218,000 would not be there? So we would carry over 500,000 or 718,000. All right, that's kind of our choices.
And we're hoping that's worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Is that a fair, what's that? Okay, so either we carry over 718,000 or we give the bonus and we carry over $500,000.
Mr. Childress, I want to give a bonus, really, really want to give a bonus, but I really struggle with coming to the table in giving an extra 220,000 when a reduction of 500,000 from the Board of Supervisors caused us to reduce new positions in CIP. I struggle with seeing that as being consistent. So I want to give a bonus, but I'm not certain that I see that as being consistent with what we're communicating to the Board of Supervisors about how much we need.
I'd just like to remind you, though, that if we don't, that's that 450, almost $500,000 that we'd have to turn back.
It's kind of like if I go to the store and there's a sale, if I buy 3 of them, I get 2 free. But did I need that? I mean, I might want that one. I might really want that one. But can I do it right now? I might not be able to, even though it's amazing opportunity.
Point taken. Board, any other?
Well, I do want to address that comment, and I understand turning away the money part, and the money's going like this. It's not really, it's flowing through us, and I don't know if that has an advantage for the district budget in the future, the fact that that money came through the division or not. Is that why, because you brought it up several times, and I don't know if that's like, if there's something there other than the fact that it's just flowing from our hands, well, not really from our hands, from the county's hands, from the state hands, because that's what you're talking about, the state side funding. and just going through to the teachers' bonuses, right? Because it's not like we're holding on to it. It's coming from the state, going through our hands.
It's a one-time thing, so it's not like it
Right.
adds to our,
So it doesn't,
right.
so,
It's just,
all right.
just the point of, 200,000 gets us 600,000.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, it looks good, but it
Sure.
really doesn't.
I understand. And I understand both points. I do.
Childress, so,
Ms.
look,
Ligon?
I understand everything, I was listening as driving. What are the other, and I don't compare too often, but it might be good now, what are other localities doing with this bonus from the state?
In my meeting
I
on
mean, our
Monday,
immediate ones,
in my meeting on Monday, every other locality but one, and that was in the
Well, we don't need to know who.
western part of the state, and that's because they gave a bonus at Christmas time. Is given the bonus either June, July. There were one or two that were waiting till September to give it because they just felt like they were doing it, next year. But most of them are trying to give it in June. Just to do the retention.
We have a different situation, of course, or not, but
Sure.
just getting that idea.
Yes,
'Cause
ma'am.
people do
Ma'am,
talk to one
you've
another.
talked the same thing, I'm sure.
The ones that I've spoken with, they are doing a bonus. They are tying it to retention.
And
Some are
that's
doing
what-
it in
that's the
June,
part
or
I
some are
prob-
doing it next year.
Yeah, because of what I do in Lynchburg City, I knew that. But the word retention, I must have missed it. Did that come for everybody? Is that just a thing that the state is calling this? We named that.
The ones that are doing June, they're kind of calling it retention bonus. Your ones that are giving it later, it would be
Yeah,
just a
that's
bonus.
when I was reading this, I didn't know it turned into a retention bonus.
Right.
Can't hurt, but at the same time.
We were trying to use it as a positive,
I
Ms.
understand.
Lakin,
Ms.
for that.
McGowan.
yes.
No, I agree. I'm just getting that straight in my head, but yeah.
Mhm.
But no, I understand what you were saying. I'm just saying the timing here, once again, is waiting till we come back again, putting her to a situation of hurry or not. And I know why we're waiting, kinda. And I know why we're waiting, but are we doing the right thing by not giving this approval tonight or the wrong thing? Time-wise for the finance officer.
Well, I think it's at the pleasure of the board. I mean, if we feel, for me, it's a matter of how confident they feel in our numbers that we have to carry over. Because our number one thing is we've got to be fiscally responsible because I don't look good in orange.
So you're saying so the CFO is saying it is to our best advantage for all of those things, I heard you, to wait until June when you have better numbers?
I mean, I've given projections, and I still sense there's some hesitation. Waiting till June would give you another month of actual data, because I'm actually, projecting out what the payrolls are going to be in May and what the subs and the additional, so it is based off projections, but I am doing it as sort of the worst case. I want to make sure I have enough in there to cover it.
Okay. That's
June
all I
would-
need to know.
Okay.
I mean, I was just asking, so you're not going to be in a rush situation?
I'm going to go ahead, like I was telling Dr. Hoden, we're going to still proceed as if it's approved so that we're ready to go once you do decide or do not decide. Because if we waited till the 11th, it would be too rushed to do it. But we can prepare as if you are doing it so that we're ready to go for June.
Isn't that when we meet in 11?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
For the June payroll, the end of the month payroll.
That's what I was asking. I'm good.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
Ms. Justice?
Yes. I just wanted to bring up, I believe most of the divisions around here raised the employee portion significantly in their health insurance in the past year. And that's, to me, a bonus also because we didn't do that. So that's a high retention point as well. So.
It is an additional retention point.
Yeah.
But back to your point, I think, Mr. Childress, if in fact theoretically you believe the idea that if that money was there, that you would likely do it, and it's just a matter of if it's there, that's why I think the consensus would have been a nice thing, just to say that the concept you agree with. It's just whether you come back and it actually is there in June. A consensus of mindset that it is a good thing to do, I think, would go a long way, just to reiterate.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us are big on retention. Because we have great teachers. So it is definitely, and if we all won the lottery tomorrow, we would be like, yes, let's do this. But I know I sat in the audience and watched David and Ms. Laconich and Dr. Hoden get up and try to defend our budget, and then to turn around, that makes it hard, right? It makes it hard to turn around and say, okay, we're gonna spend more money, and to the community is not only to the Board of Supervisors, but also to our community. It is a hard decision, and I 100% believe in retention. I 100% want to give this bonus. I just would feel better if I knew what the exact numbers were.
So it seems like if we voted tonight, we would be voting on theory. If we vote next month, we're voting on fact.
Fact is good.
What it sounds like.
Mr. Rossi?
I've got one more shade point. Retention. If $1,000 is going to make the difference between a teacher choosing Amherst County or not choosing Amherst County, maybe they're not the right teacher. That's just my opinion. I just wanted to put that out there. $1,000 is a lot of money, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if signing a contract and working in this division versus going to another division is making the difference, then whether we voted yes or no tonight probably isn't the deciding factor for that contract.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. I don't know that would be the deciding factor. You know, when you look around, if we were the only division not to be doing so, it's also a perception thing. So I get that. I understand it. I don't think it would be the lone sole deciding factor, but it's something to look positively on. It's an incentive, and it's also a perception thing. So.
And it is an incentive because they can go over the border and make more money. So we have to remember that too. I mean, that'd be pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about this when we talk through budgets, when we're talking about trying, because I know the last several budget cycles, we've tried to increase certain tiers for our teachers to get them up to be more competitive with the localities. So again, our focus, we're focusing on the right things, right? We want to pay our staff, but we've also got to be fiscally responsible. And I'm not speaking for the whole board, but we want to be able to give the bonus. We just got to make sure that we can actually afford to do it and not negatively impact next school year as part of the process. So I think we've said all we can say on that tonight. So we will table that until the June 11th meeting.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to 14.
14, yes, sir. So this is a very busy time of year, as everyone knows. We've had so many events. Mr. Gallagher already reminded you about the retirement dinner. But recently we had the Golden A ceremony, which was phenomenal. It was really awesome to see students where they recognized their kindergarten teacher, their elementary teacher, maybe a coach. We had several that actually did their parent that was a teacher. That was kind of a neat twist as well. So just great to see that, not only to see our students, but to see some of our educators that work hard and are honored in that, and that's quite a tribute. And also in that, like tonight, I said we had the science and we had the math and we had the CTE. Well, also in that you had students from all walks. You had career tech students. You even had a cosmetology student in there that recognized our new cosmetology teacher. So just kind of an amazing, bandwidth there of who was recognized. So just wanted to share that. And then I will share that the Golden Tassel ceremony was a very well-received event as well. So very, very good to see that. So, and then some date reminders, May 14th, that's today, Senior Awards. I'll let Ms. Legan talk a little bit about that. I won't steal the thunder since we weren't able to go with that. And then this weekend is the prom at Sweetbriar, and we're gracious to them. And then on May 22nd is graduation.
So, Dr. Hoden, one comment on the senior awards. Do we normally do that the same night as a board meeting?
So as I shared, there were literally, they scoured the calendar. No, they do not. But, you have to remember with the senior awards, they try not to have it on the day we have a game, or day we have, and so we actually moved the Golden A and the Golden Tassel ceremonies up a little bit because May is just so crazy, and yeah, trust me, Miss Legan, we really tried to do something different, but that's why we let her scoot over there for a personal reason on a grandson. But it's a hard time, and we talked to Dr. Crawford about that. But unfortunately, it was just the way things go sometimes.
And then one more date in May, so May 20th is retirement.
Yes, yeah, and Mr. Gallagher already talked about that. So, but the just to talk about graduation, I think two of you, I think Ms. Saunders and Ms. Legan, we did send an email out that if anyone would like a ride, we can secure that. So if you do need that, I'll need to know that by tomorrow so we can set that up.
So we'll just do like we've done in the past, right? We'll meet at Food Lion.
Well, there's two
Or the
locations.
SAO.
Yeah, here or Food Lion. Yeah, here or Food Lion in Amelon. So just let us know. Yeah, she'll resend it and just please
I
reply.
think I answered back there.
You did? Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Miss Legan and Miss
Food Lion.
Saunders were the ones that
I
replied.
need a ride.
Okay, so reply to the email, please. Would you resend it? So, we'll have a van for you. That'll make things easier. And then, Educator Appreciation Week, May 4th through 8th. So a few of you helped hand out lunches, and that was nice. I tried to get to all schools, but I didn't make it because some were kind of going on at the same time, so I couldn't be at 2. So that's just during that week. But that was a great thing to try to do. We gave Chick-fil-A to the staff, and there are very few that don't like Chick-fil-A, so they were appreciative of that. And then the June school board meeting we talked about on June 11th. And then the other thing that we just went to today, Mr. Neighbors and I, so the transition program at Amherst County High School, where our older special ed students are transitioning into the workplace. We were able to go to that today and won an event. So what I've asked Mr. Neighbors to do, we're going to have the teacher and maybe one of the students come in June and present, because it's a different side of what you see, and it was just pretty neat to see that. So we were glad to be able to go over that today. So just a twist on that, and we're going to try to line it up for you in June so you can kind of understand what those students do, and it's pretty cool. So, and that's all I have, sir.
All right, moving on, 1501, committee reports. We'll start with you, Ms. Saunders.
Committee of one. And I want to thank everyone, staff and the board, who's trying to get this budget passed. It's been a difficult decision on both ends. I'm straddling the fence on both sides. So, but for all of us, our goal is always our students, their education, but also their safety. So we need to always keep that in the forefront, and we do. But we're also so proud of our students and their accomplishments. I mean, tonight was just one small part of what we've been looking at all year. So I just want to say finish hard, and congratulations to all the seniors. And y'all have a great summer, everybody, parents, teachers, staff, everyone. Thanks.
On Tuesday, I was able to attend the STEM Academy Senior Award Night, which for the 4 Amherst seniors, they did a great job. We actually had one that won the Outstanding Leadership out of the 27 total seniors in the STEM Academy. It was a fun night, just seeing the pictures that they put up and talking about what they learned. That was a great opportunity. And to thank the whole staff with what you do. I know everybody gets bullied and beat up over little things here and there, but that's the way we have to keep it, and to keep this county's education striving. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Central Virginia Gov School had a meeting in May, and then they have another meeting June 3rd. All of our Amherst positions are filled. which is excellent news. And we had 15 applications. So that's really good because we need those wait list people because you never know what's going to happen in a student's life or their parents' life. So that's really exciting. Something that stood out to me was the FCCLA. I had to look it up. And it was Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. And what was so exciting to me was that all those awardees were not here because they were being celebrated at the Senior Awards. They are leaders in their community, and they're the exceptional people that are going to go out and inspire more leaders. I was blessed by the elementary senior walkthrough, first one ever, giving back to the community. And that was student-led, that was grassroots, inspired from within themselves. And that is the kind of student that is representative of Amherst. And not many divisions can say that. And it's just another reason why I love this area. I got to go to the educator appreciation. I got to go to Temperance, Madison Heights, and Amelon. And I got to speak with Ms. Gray. And I believe it's Ms. Grazer that is her assistant. Glaze. Thank you. I was doing it from memory. Not very good. I got to visit a lot with Bobby Campbell. I got to visit with the SROs. I got to sit with Mr. Hutchinson and watch him interact with his students that are leaning against the wall. And he's saying, singing is so good, but can we do that at chorus and not in the classroom? And I loved talking with our educators and our aides and our staff. And every one of them is putting so much heart into their students. And so that's just an awesome, awesome thing to be a part of. Let's see, one of the things that stood out to me in the Golden Ace ceremony, which I've been able to attend 3 times now, is a consistent expression of students who said things like, this instructor helped me see I had value in who I was, that I could achieve and go forward. Another one was, I got to be me. I got to authentically express with integrity who I am. And in an age that rewards those who look like everyone else, the Golden Ace just reaffirms again and again the importance of seeing our students individually. And that's what our educators and staff do. So I just want to say congratulations, seniors. I want to say congratulations to all our students that are finishing up. And I just want to say, have fun, but please stay safe. We want this break to be the summer of great memories. And you all are so precious to us.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into a whole lot, but for those who are listening on radio or couldn't see what the room looked like, to see how many students and family members we had, and Dr. Hoden put a lot of certificates down. Mm-hmm. So if those people had been here, we would have needed the high school auditorium to do this meeting. Which is great because we celebrated a pretty diverse group of kids. And those that weren't here being celebrated were being celebrated at the high school for their accomplishments and their successes there. So I do want to reiterate what Ms. Justice said. These are great times for our students. And I cringe every time I get a text from our superintendent this time of year, just because it's that curse of the end of the year. And I just fear what that text is going to say. So please be safe out there and help us get good text. Thank you.
I like that. Yes. Well, I thought you people would be at home in the bed by now. I was going the other direction. made a U-turn on 29, but that's because I love you. You gotta have a little fun sometime. But anyway, Laurel did meet last week or the week before, and things are well there. We did adopt a budget there, and it is included, the bonus is included because they're under Lynchburg City. And I think theirs was 15, wasn't
Yes,
it?
ma'am, that's
Yeah,
correct.
which we were excited about that. That's not comparison, but just letting you know that. The graduation is coming up at the end of the month. We do not have a Amherst student graduating this year, but we do have Campbell County Appomattox, so I plan to attend that again. I was at early college for many reasons because I worked there, but it's always good when they say Amherst County and watching those young people walk across and get their associate degree. So it's good stuff to see. And as everyone has said, it's been a good month, a busy month, but it's a good month because everybody's having fun celebrating. And I did not get to the lunch this time, Mr. Gallagher, because I was giving exams. Every time I thought I was going to come out, I had to talk to somebody. But anyway, I hope the teachers enjoyed that. And these are, now I'm going to tell you, this don't happen everywhere. For everybody that's talking about retention and leaving and what we need to do to stay, we're doing all we can, I think. But don't everybody get appreciation lunches all over the United States. So I'm glad that we do that here. That's not saying that we are better or worse, but I'm glad we do. I did want to ask a question, maybe it was talked about while I was gone. Summer school, did we cut, I'm going to stop using that word. Did we change something in summer school from last year? And then I'll be through.
Yes, ma'am, just what Dr. McGinnis had discussed the last time around, but I can have him reach out.
Okay,
and go through
yeah,
that
not a
again.
big deal. I'm just trying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
think, what did we change there and why did we do that? And then I'm hoping that sometime during the summer months, when things are a little more relaxed, that we're still looking into Amherst Middle School as to what's going to happen there before they come back to school, looking into that gym situation. And let's not, because people will ask us until we say something that we're going to do about that. And I was excited to know that this graduating class is 300 or something. Is that right, Dr. Holden? And so I'm excited. And the awards tonight were just wonderful. Got there in time for over half of it. Well, not really, but it's just good. It's just good to see students walk across the stage and get something. And I can't say I won't happen with my grandson and your niece. So we're all just having a good time with everything that we're doing. So I'm looking forward to coming back with new news, new money news, whatever that means. And I think we will excel. And we've been here before. The whole nation's in this now. We're not by ourselves, you know. We think we are because we have to be frugal for Amherst County, but everybody's doing the same thing. When I read the VSBA reports every morning at daybreak, there's some adjustment all over the state of Virginia. The budgets of things, the word cut, change, eliminate, and we don't like those words, so we're doing the best we can here not to do that. But we'll see it. I'll see you all tomorrow. And then, did we change June meeting? Is still the same?
Stay on stay.
Okay, I'm good.
It's been a long night, and I will not belabor everything. I do want to talk about STEM Academy. I was able to go to their presentations. Very, very exciting. Those students got together, worked on their projects, presented it to everybody there. It was great to see everybody working as a team, even though they weren't classmates. Some of them were, some of them weren't. But they all got together and they worked together to get a job done. They enjoyed the nursing program, did really, really well. Heard a lot of highlights about it. Some of the stuff I didn't even know. But it's very interesting. And the word I could think of is hope. These students brought hope to me that the future is bright. Some of these kids are extremely talented. And some of the things that I heard just amazed me, especially when they were talking about AI and some of the FlowServe stuff where they're talking about building and 3D printing. It was just all amazing stuff, and it is the future. So we got to be on board with that. Another thing I would like the board to consider, a suggestion that was made tonight about bringing prayer into our meetings. I know the board of supervisor does it. I do like the idea of a hybrid, possibly. And the question that's always been asked to me about prayer at a board meeting was, who's going to say the prayer? So hopefully we can get it on the agenda, have a conversation about it, and answer that question. congratulations to our soon-to-be graduated seniors. I know it's going to be a good time up there at the college, and looking forward to it. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Well, as usual, board, I will keep my comments brief. Saunders? So I would like to ask, we did ask the administration three board meetings back to look into the Amherst Middle School gym situation. I think it's fair to ask for an update on that in the June meeting.
Yes, sir.
So if we could bring that and give us your assessment of what the real issue is there, how we can rectify it. I know there was some conversation around doing some B team type stuff. I will just say I'm not a proponent of that because you're reducing the amount of students who can participate in that. But we need to be safe if we're using the facility. So I would appreciate a feedback on that. Again, if you weren't here looking out of the audience and to see the whole place, there was not one empty seat. And in fact, it was standing room only. That's what I wish our board meetings could be like every meeting. And quite honestly, for the whole meeting, not just for the recognition, but I wish the community cared enough to actually be there, listen, and comment on what's going on. And to hear the board and how sincere we are about making instruction better. And honestly, we'd love their input. But kudos to our graduates. They have successfully finished, a very difficult chapter in their life, graduating high school. And they've got many more chapters. And what an awesome experience. I'm 54 years old, and I still look back at my high school years and talk about it. So a lot of great memories that they've built here in Amherst County, the great teachers, and a great school system. So I'm excited about that. I did get to go to the Manellison Spring Fling event that they had a few weeks back. I got to listen to the band, the chorus, the band led by Mr. Tomlin, chorus by Ms. Jarrett. And what a phenomenal job those kids did, and how professional they presented themselves. And it was just a great time. I even bought some plants from the FFA, led by Mrs. Ellick. Although I will say, I was disappointed when I left because I didn't win my silent auction. I bid on, 3 or 4 things, and I didn't win not one. So I was disappointed with that. But kudos to them. They raised a lot of money for the PTO, so great job with that. I did also get to attend Shrek, and what a phenomenal production to be able to do that in the new auditorium, and to the stage production. It was just a great opportunity to see our students shine literally on stage, and so I would highly encourage our community next year, don't miss out. I mean, these plays, they are phenomenal. Our teacher, she does a great job working with the students, and our students are phenomenal at what they do. And we got to even see Mr. Crawford on stage. So that was great. Well, board, that's all I have at this time. So again, thank you to the administration. The year's not quite over yet, but we're counting down the days now. So keep it up, keep us informed, and as Mr. Terry said, please remind our students to be safe. A few seconds longer to get there is not going to hurt you. So, all right, having said that, that brings us to our public comments. Anyone in the audience that would like to come on up, state your name and individual 3 minutes, group.
Good evening, y'all. Sam Soger, District 2 dad. And you're right, there should be more people in the audience. I'm, once again, the only parent and or guardian in the room. It'd be great to have some people here just compare notes with and to even just be here in the room with y'all when y'all are making these difficult decisions. From my position, my vantage point as a parent, I think there was some harsh words for teachers. I think that's important, and I wish y'all had said something to that effect, like, hey, yes, these teachers could be making 10 grand more across county lines. That doesn't mean like that means they are loyal, you know? So let's be gentle. Please, I think the admin was making good points about this, just the optics of it. As a parent, I need the people in the room with the children to be taken care of, right? You gotta have happy workers. So it's a given for any enterprise, right? Really like this idea of prayer, y'all. Eric and Jeff are talking about it. So let me use some of this time right now for silent prayer. And let's do some silent prayer because today is the day, the celebration of life for Charles Skippy Brown, a local legend, a man who did so much for this community and had such an amazing impact on such a wide swath of our community. So let's take a moment of my 3 minutes for Skippy. Thank you. Skippy is a man who showed us that if you can dream it, you can make it your reality. He conjured all of this stuff through his own hard work and determination. And his son, Kelvin Brown, as he eulogized him today, wanted us to come away with this point, that what his father had said to him towards the end was, take everything as a positive. Peace and love, y'all.
Anyone else like to address the board? Seeing none. And again, we don't normally make comments, but I do just want to readdress the comment about the teachers and the pay. We certainly did mention that. We mentioned about how every budget cycle we have worked to try and increase those pay bands. We do take our teachers' pay extremely serious, and we've tried to make adjustments to get those bands up to get us more competitive to the localities. It's unfortunately it's the beast of the budget, and so it's definitely high on our priority list. So, board, what's your pleasure?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Anybody want to stay? All right, we are adjourned.
Another hour.